Good morning, pop culture. We're live. God damn it, Kathleen! Well, today is October the 1st, 2018. It's 8:01 a.m. and it's time to lament some Star Wars news. So, all is not lost, though. We have Halloween to look forward to, Schlocktoberfest, October's celebration here on World Class Bullshitters. But today, there's bigger problems. There's bigger fish to fry. There's bigger chunks of corn in your crap, if you will. We have the sad news that Kathleen Kennedy is not only still the president of Lucasfilm, but it's going to be that way for 3 more years. Now, I went live the minute I heard the story. Let me give you a quick refresh of what actually happened. So Friday afternoon, I'm at the gym. I'm feeling good. I'm there. And all of a sudden, I look at my phone to switch songs, and it says, breaking news. Kathleen Kennedy renewed till 2021. I'm thinking, is this that bullshit Star Wars group I'm in? Let me check this source. And then I see it comes from the Hollywood Reporter. So I'm like, fuck, I know what I got to do when I get home. So I go to pick up the weight, and I think to myself, nope, I better leave right now. So I ran out of that place. I didn't do anything. I left in the nastiest gym clothes possible to tell you that story. The news broke. We talked about Kathleen Kennedy. And when I left the stream, I thought, fine, that's it. We're done. We're going to move forward. We'll talk about Star Wars. 2019 still is not guaranteed to be this great landmark year for Disney. Actually, it's just as bad, if not worse. Believe me. I've been checking out all the sources. Grace Randolph put out a really good video that covered this. But you started to see the jabronis come out of the woodwork. You had your lead editor from IGN, some douche named Scott. He was here. Then you had Screen Rant trying to poke the bear, saying Kathleen Kennedy made Star Wars great. You see, there was a point where these people knew that Star Wars was on the outs. They were scared because they realized that their advertising money that they receive doesn't really get the people in the seats. You see, The Last Jedi is the most important movie in the last 25 years. Not because it's good, not because it just got awful, but because it exposed how these companies truly operate. There has never been a bigger dichotomy of us and them. 91% or 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, it's the greatest Star Wars movie ever. Then you go to the fans, 41%. That's not even accurate because they don't even count the half-star rating. So The Last Jedi just went to prove how fake and how bought and paid for the media truly is. And when I say media, they try to present themselves off as advertisers, or excuse me, not as advertisers, as journalists. They're not journalists. They're just one big, fat, fake advertising firm that can't do shit. IGN is a garbage tier website. They used to be the best when they were, N64dream.com or some shit like that. But now they're known as the Doritos Mountain Dew Call of Duty Network. And have you ever noticed how those games, the important games, get the high scores? Now, I'll make you a Dukes Brothers bet. I don't know the future, but I'll make you a Dukes Brothers bet that Battlefield 5, had it come out right during the whole we're going to do what we want for the fans type, or we're going to do whatever we want in terms of history repeating itself and all that other basically that douchebag saying that they don't care about history and the fans. IGN would have given it a great score. Now the backlash came out, and they're going to kind of temper their reaction as not to alienate too much. But if it would have come out during the hype of that, if that news would have come out right as the game was being released, they would have given it a 9 out of 10. Oh, it's so great. It's historical, this, that. It's empowering. It's important to the franchise. See, IGN, they are cowards when it comes to reporting. They wouldn't touch Gamergate. Why? Because maybe some of the people involved with it are, at your job. They wouldn't get involved with all kinds of shit. There are all kinds of people that can tell you how IGN operates. But now their editor goes out of his way to try to stick it to the Star Wars fans one last time. But he comes out as being a hypocritical douche. And I'll be showing that in a moment, as well as making its own video about that. And then Screen Rant, the most unreliable source on the internet. Why do we use them sometimes? Because it's funny to see their garbage articles. But yeah, that's where we are right now. Kathleen Kennedy, Star Wars, blah, 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 blah. It's a madhouse. So let's see where the numbers are before we can start the show. Oh, well, we're way past it. All right, we're at 220. So let's start this properly. Let me get let's go to this garbage tier article, Screen Rant. And let's check out Chris Agar. Oh, how great. It's really funny, guys, how they think they've, dashed our spirits. Oh, the contingency of angry white dudes on the internet that didn't like The Last Jedi. Well, they're done for. Look at this. This goes to prove. This proves dick. First off, not white. There are a lot of women that don't like this damn movie, and there are a lot of people of color that don't like this movie. And if you have to use their wording to beat them, you do. That's how you beat these people indefinitely. Not even indefinitely, permanently. When you want to beat them, you beat them with facts. You use their terminology. You just stick it to them in the harshest ways possible. You don't fight back with hate speech. You fight back with the shit they can't fight back against. Logic. So let's. I'm so sorry that I have to show you guys this morning. I don't want to, but here we go. It is Halloween, so let's look at the most ghoulish face in Hollywood, Kathleen Kennedy. Ooh, she's like the Crypt Keeper with a wig. Well, the Crypt Keeper had long hair, right? It's been a while since I watched Tales from the Crypt. By the way, folks, if you're a patron of the channel, be expecting your first Halloween bonus today. Kathleen Kennedy saves Star Wars. There's some bullshit. Kathleen Kennedy saved the Star Wars franchise, handpicked by George Lucas to run Lucasfilm after the studio was acquired by Disney in 2012. Kennedy had the gargantuan task of reviving one of cinema's landmark properties. Star Wars has been a pop culture staple since its debut in 1977, but the property had been dormant for many years following the release of Revenge of the Sith. First off, Chris, you're fucking wrong. It wasn't dormant for many years after Revenge of the Sith. There's this little thing called the Clone Wars that kept Star Wars quite alive. There was also a theatrical release of that show. Wasn't great, but it was still alive. They had video games like The Force Unleashed 1 and 2, which were pretty big hits. They had some of the greatest toys come out in that period. So please, Chris Agar of Screen Rant, if you're going to report on Star Wars, at least know your shit. Anybody out there. It'd be like if I started reporting about the Bengals. I don't know shit about football outside of I'd had to play the game, and I played in the stadium once. I am not a sportscaster. I am not an expert of any kind of sport, but I do know my Star Wars, and this guy is full of shit. So what is more than that is that the House of Mouse dropped $4 billion to get their hands on Star Wars rights, meaning that they had big plans for the brand, went just beyond making a new trilogy in the Skywalker saga. But it had to start there so they could dupe you into the nostalgia box. On paper, Kennedy reads as an excellent choice to follow Lucas, a longtime collaborator of Steven Spielberg. Kennedy has been a top Hollywood producer for decades. Executive producer. Again, we need to get these things correct. You want to argue about semantics with us. You have to take the semantics back. She was an executive producer. She dealt with the finances. She dealt with the copyright. She dealt with the money. She didn't deal with the creative aspect. Let's stop acting like she was involved with the greatness of E.T. Here's the thing. 90% of her career comes from Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg could have done that with anybody else. So let's stop acting like she was responsible for Back to the Future. That was a Zemeckis Gale production. And Spielberg was, just kind of there to give some ideas. Oh, God, I hate reading about this person. 6 years have passed since Disney, Star Wars, Lucasfilm. The Disney-Lucasfilm merger and Kennedy's tenure has had various ups and downs, but as she prepares to lead the galaxy far, far away for 3 more years, it's safe to say she rescued Star Wars. Now, the funny thing about this article is that it's intentionally trying to poke the fandom menace, us. But if we were such a small contingency, such a small minority of angry white dudes on the internet, why would it be worth talking about? We're not that small, according to their response. See, all these websites have to go out of their way, or these executive editors for these big websites have to go out of their way to say, ha, told you so, like the children that they are. Wait for John Campio's response. You know that weirdo is going to be like, hey, guys, I was right the whole time, and my goddess Kathleen Kennedy is going to save Star Wars. John, look, enjoy your screening at episode 9, but still, you're not a credible reviewer. Let's see. Before we examine Kennedy's contributions to Star Wars, it's worth taking a look where the franchise was before under the Disney umbrella. Let's see. I'm not going to worry about that. A lack of fresh material hurt Star Wars' reputation, was also sold by the mixed reactions of the prequels. While the films definitely have their fair share of fans, more have come to appreciate their merits in recent years, that trilogy didn't resonate with the zeitgeist as strongly as the classic films did. Well, I hate to break it to you, Chris, but Yeah, Attack of the Clones sucked, but no one was calling for George Lucas's head on a platter after that movie. People were still waiting for how Anakin became Darth Vader. Did he fall into the volcano? Did this happen? Did that happen? I was there, man. I was into this shit back then. I wasn't busy watching Harry Potter movies and thinking Star Wars was for old dudes. No, I was there the whole time, liking Star Wars. So they may not have been as good as the originals. Then again, nothing since them have been that big in terms of popular culture. Look at name a franchise that's been as big as Star Wars since Star Wars. Harry Potter and the Hunger Games came and went, and now they're just kind of, but nothing has topped the original Star Wars. But then again, you just want to twist these facts, these things. You want to twist these opinions to try to make them facts. If Disney never agreed to buy Lucasfilm, chances are Star Wars is still a six-film series, with many wondering what might have been if Lucas brought in another director to make the prequels. Of course, Star Wars is now here to stay, and that's a large part because of Kennedy. Is it, though? Or is it because Disney spent a bunch of money and they want to make as much money as possible? Her face be damned. Anybody could have done a better job. And I'm talking within Hollywood. I'm not saying, Kevin Smith couldn't have done a better job. Let's just get that out of the way. It's impossible to overstate the importance of Episode 7. Disney spent a small fortune on Lucasfilm, and there were plans in place for an entire slate of new movies before The Force Awakens hit theaters. Its fellow sequel installment had creative team in place, and spin-offs Rogue One and Solo were in the works. There's the first mistake. You were way ahead of yourselves, Lucasfilm, Disney. You should have started out with one movie and, tested the waters, excuse me. Haven't had any coffee yet today. Oh, God, this just hurts. Few people understood that more than Kennedy, and that's why she worked diligently to ensure that the movies were as strong as they could be. Let's retitle this bullshit the article. She convinced an initially hesitant J.J. Abrams, who successfully revived Star Trek, to direct. Why would you be hesitant, J.J. Abrams? You turned Star Trek into Star Wars light, so why not turn Star Wars light into Star Wars trash? And commissioned a script to rewrite it when it was determined that Michael Arndt's draft wasn't working. There was also a conscious effort in early marketing materials to distance The Force Awakens from the prequels, embracing the tone and aesthetic of the original trilogy. Believe me, we already know this, Chris. We already know this. Remember how they marketed, guys, this is the same lens they used in 1977. This is the fact. This is the same visuals that you guys are going to remember from the Millennium Falcon. And then we have the desert planet. We have this and we have that. This article, while trying to sound like a victory lap, is almost an admission of guilt. Like, these are the same things we bitch about with these movies. So all you're doing is giving Kathleen Kennedy more credit. I almost called her Krennic, giving her more credit for the shit we dislike about Star Wars. So thank you, Chris. Idiot. The end results speak for themselves. At the time of the release in December, The Force Awakens was the most critically acclaimed series entry since The Empire Strikes Back. I love how they keep using that. Like, that means something great. And hailed as a return to form. It also wrote the box office record books, grossing an astonishing $936.6 million domestically, a figure that will never be topped, and more than $2 billion worldwide. While some were quick to point out the obvious parallels between The Force Awakens and New Hope, the general consensus was that Star Wars was back and people were excited about it. Not anymore. And conversely, wiped out the old expanded universe, resembling it or relabeling it as Legends. While supplemental materials like books and comics aren't requirements to understand the movies, the reboots made them more accessible for newcomers. Again, that is not true, because you have to read The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi comics and all this stuff to fill in the plot holes that these stupid movies didn't cover. This article is one of the problems with just modern media reporting in general. They're told, this is what you have to talk about, and they gloss over all these other problems for possibly two reasons. One, because they don't know that there are problems and they're just too stupid to research it, or two, they're just trying to brush it under the rug because they don't want to offend the big advertiser Disney. Kennedy's Star Wars mistakes. See, there's only 2 paragraphs for that. However, Kennedy's track record isn't spotless, especially when it comes to hiring directors. The nadir of her tenure is definitely Solo, which we're still technically at. The first Star Wars movie to lose money at the box office. There's no denying that Kennedy mismanaged the situation, allowing Phil Lord and Chris Miller to shoot a majority of a film before firing them over creative differences. Solo's budget had to be doubled in order to complete Ron Howard's reshoots, which ultimately doomed the spin-off commercially, though it still got a generally positive review from the critics. I guess it's okay. 5 out of 10, I think, is what World Class Bullshitters gave it. While not as severe, Kennedy also had fallout with Josh Trank and Colin Trevorrow. To a lesser extent, the Gareth Edwards choice didn't entirely work out, as Tony Gilroy picked up a $5 million check to oversee extensive Rogue One reshoots and fix the third act. Though Lord and Miller aside, there are fairly standard incidents for films in the industry. Star Wars is hardly one of the only major franchises to part ways with directors, so it's difficult to blame Kennedy for most of these examples. The most vocal Last Jedi detractors believe Kennedy deserves to be ousted for dividing the fan base and making Star Wars quite toxic, but odds are episode 8 would have been polarizing no matter what Rian Johnson did. Again, excuses. When it comes to something as massive as Star Wars, it's impossible to please everybody, and millions of viewers had their own theories brewing for 2 years. And even with the controversy, Last Jedi still earned $1.3 billion and is certified fresh at Rotten Tomatoes by most metrics. It was a success, except it's not. You see right here, no matter what Rian Johnson did, I look at this as Rian Johnson didn't do a good thing, and they're trying to play that off on the fan theories. Well, let me tell you this. I didn't have any of my fan theories in place. I didn't have my hopes and dreams built upon a fan theory. I didn't. What I had was expectations for Luke Skywalker to do something. That's it. I wanted to see them continue this story, and it was worse than I could possibly imagine because I didn't really focus on it. I was so upset and angered by how shitty and much of a rehash episode 7 was that we go into The Last Jedi, and I don't know about Chris Agger, but I go to tons of just pages in general, and people still bitch about The Last Jedi, and rightly so. It's a terrible film. They want to hide behind the certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. That means nothing to us, okay? There are tons of movies out there that have great scores on Rotten Tomatoes, and I think are terrible, and a lot of people feel the same way too. So let's see how Star Wars The Last Jedi really hurts Episode 9, whatever the fuck it's going to be called. And then Kennedy has become an easy target after The Last Jedi, divisiveness and solo bombing, but she has more than earned her right to stay in her current position. With her at the helm, Star Wars Renaissance took off in grand style, and despite a stumble here and there, it has gone about in a good way, as good a way as anyone could have hoped. So you admit that you want the fan base to be divided by your own logic. You want the merchandise to be useless to everybody. I mean, even the Disney store has shrunk down their Star Wars section to almost nothing. It's like Star Wars is our biggest brand during the holidays that the movie comes out. And other than that, we don't really care about it too much. But I have to fucking Buzz Lightyear every day. Well, I like Buzz Lightyear. I really don't have a problem with Buzz Lightyear. I was going to say a Disney princess, but I've never watched those movies, so I can't really accurately critique their importance to the brand. But I can say that Buzz Lightyear is legit. As anyone could have hoped. I think the best thing anyone could have hoped for would not have been for a large contingency of people to come out of the woodwork and say, hey, I'm really upset with what you guys are doing with Star Wars, and I don't plan on seeing more. I dislike the story elements, and I'm tired of being called a sexist and a racist for not liking the movies. You see, Star Wars under Kathleen Kennedy has done so much more damage than they realize because Chris Agar and all these people that want to be in Hollywood, they don't live in this little place we like to call the real world. They don't have responsibilities to a job. Like, here's the thing. Your thoughts and your virtue signaling mean just as much as your actual performance, because this isn't that great of an article. Yeah, I didn't read it in the best of ways because I really don't care about Chris Agar. I don't respect Chris Agar enough to go, excuse me, let me reiterate everything properly, like my friend with the curly hair. I don't. What I do think, though, is that this is just more damage control. We'll talk about Grace Randolph in a minute because I've never been a Grace Randolph fan. I don't go and say, oh, Grace Randolph's great. I don't really like her reviews that much. She harps on feminism and this and that. And she used to work at Marvel. She seems to rate Marvel movies differently because she was fired by them. So I don't give her an instant pass because she's saying what I want to hear. But I do want to say she's credible. And I do want to say that she has added a lot of she brought a lot of information to light back in June with her big reveal, and now her new video has proven that she hasn't been full of shit since then. All of her other leaks have been believable, and this isn't the end for us. 2019 we have episode 9 to look forward to. Kathleen Kennedy isn't going to her staying at the company won't actually help episode 9's box office. You see, there are a lot of people that would have said, oh, she's gone, I'm willing to give episode 9 a chance. And they wouldn't even have thought about, well, the movie's so far into production, it doesn't matter what happens. That's what Disney's taking into account. But there are a lot of you out there that go, I don't like this woman, I don't like what she's done, I don't like where Star Wars is, and I won't support it. So you may have actually hurt the box office more by doing that. You never know. If I'm going to try to get my Star Wars content from the future, I'm going to say episode 9, like I said earlier, 800 mil worldwide, not 800 mil domestic. People will want to say, but look at Return of the Jedi. It was the final conclusion in that saga, and it made X amount of dollars more than the other ones. Yeah, but listen, fictional asshole, those second sequels in that trilogy had you on a cliffhanger wanting to know what happened next. These are just kind of, this one just ended, and you're like, oh, okay, well, we'll find out one day when they recover, more people in the Resistance. It's like, look, we've seen Return of the Jedi. We know what it's like when the rebels are down and they come back and win. You're not going to get us there. Rey's not on this epic journey. Poe, Finn, Rose, Tico, not on an epic journey. BB-8's just an advertisement, a toy, if you will. So what are you hyping people up? We're not trying to find out if Vader was really Luke's father. I mean, that Empire Strikes Back is the greatest movie twist ever. What does The Last Jedi have in terms of great movie twists? Nothing. Let's be honest with ourselves. Even all the sarcastic jokes you can make about Rian Johnson do not cover that. So let's see where we are. Okay. Well, I talked about Kathleen Kennedy. Yeah, this is not the happiest of days here on World Class Bullshitters, but it's not really a bad one. I wouldn't call it a bad one. So the Kathleen Kennedy news and excitement at an all-time low. Let's look at the our buddy on IGN. Let's see if he didn't take his tweet down, because a lot of these people seem to want to get real ballsy and talk a lot of shit, but then they want to back down real quick, because it's like, well, I said some stuff and I got real angry. Let's see where you at, Scott Calora. Okay. So let me see if it's still here, because he did post it. I think I took a screenshot of it. Maybe I tried to share it. I don't know. Oh, no, he's still going on and on about Star Wars. Let's see. Where do we go? Where's the good one? He's okay, here we go. He didn't take it down. Okay, so his balls, maybe the size of peanuts, but they exist. They exist. So let's see. Weep, toxic fanboys, weep. And now Scott's trying to be funny and cool. Let's read some of his comments. Well, I'd like to read the comments. There we go. So the only toxic ones that are folks like you that support mediocrity and disrespect of artistic creations. People like you are how we end up, well, with Trump. What is life like being a sheep? I know a company about to lose most of its followers, and that comes from Mark Hadamus. And then Scott Clore says, why do you assume toxic fans mean you? I'm talking about all of Star. If I'm talking about all of Star Wars, or I wasn't talking about all of Star Wars fandom, but I guess that's guilt taking for you, or talking for you. And then Kyle Jordan says, why do you assume that they assume toxic fans mean them? They didn't say that. You did. It's almost like you thought you had planned out some clever trap that no one fell into, that no one fell for, but you stuck with it anyway because you worked really hard on it. Wait, you Kathleen Kennedy? Itchy Baka, we know him, says, so how much thought did you put into parroting toxic fanboys? Dr. Taco says, the fans are already emotionally checked out of this franchise. No one cares. The only real weeping will be Lucasfilm when Episode 9 bombs like Solo. Ichibaka also says, even worse, apathy has crept into the general audience. That's far worse than any boycott. Good point. Alex Whitaker says, sanity check. You have a negative opinion about the direction of Lucasfilm/Star Wars and cannot be toxic. And then Scott Clore says, absolutely, which raises the question, why are so many people being defensive about that tweet? I didn't say all fans. Jason Bick goes to respond, and neither did you, say some fans. Don't act so innocent. Fisher of Meh says, okay, So how about that Boba Fett movie coming along? And then people really aren't too happy with Scott. I'm looking for some positive ones. Mike Donato says, I don't understand why your response has to be like that. The fact of the matter is she lost multiple directors over 4 movies. The Star Wars franchise lacks direction. Brad El Jefe says, this tweet is also toxic. Congratulations. Star Wars, the last failure was the last penny they got from me. The only way I would see future movies is the paint drying. Wait, sorry. The only way I will see any future movies if the paint drying channel is not on. Scott. I love how the SJW left think that their favorite franchise is going to be successful by making them 1, woke, i.e. boring, and 2, insulting their fanboys. Keep ruining everything. And then we got a lot of talk about the boycott. It's just funny how this other side thinks they've won a big battle, but in many ways, it's just beginning. Before, I think you had a lot of people that didn't want to be associated with the fandom menace. You had people that were like, I hated The Last Jedi, but I really don't want to get lumped in with these people online. I don't care. I'll watch their videos. I'll silently do whatever, but I'm not going to jump in on this. Well, then you have this, where now the executive editor of the biggest video game website, advertisement site on the planet comes out to attack people, and you're starting to piss off people that weren't originally involved. So now you're pushing away kind of customers. I don't think it's smart to constantly shit on people. You know, I don't think it's smart to shit on people that you want their clicks, you want their money. Like, I use ad block. I'm not embarrassed to say it. It's not illegal. So I don't use ad or watch ads on IGN videos. I don't even use IGN much anymore. They're not even worth my time. I thought they would have been at least too big to be corrupt. Nope. No, they're just as full of shit as every other fucking video. Why is it all the good entertainment is run by idiots like this? Yeah, video games are for everybody, male, female alike, and all the colors and of the rainbow. But for some reason, we have to make it about these kind of politics and these kind of worldviews. And you just when I want to go read about Spider-Man, I don't want to go and listen about some, well, it's really important to have Miles Morales be represented. Is it really? Have you read a Spider-Man comic with Miles Morales? Do you know who the fuck he is? No, you don't. I'm so tired of people throwing that out there. Well, diversity and inclusion makes a story good. Doesn't make it bad unless it's a poorly made story, and these stories haven't been too well made. I wish I could dislike a tweet. See, here we go. Vindiana Jones. Oh, wow, I'm toxic. Thanks for the insult. People are just coming out of the woodwork. I mean, obviously, not every one of these tweets are 100% genuine. Some of them are just, them joking around, being facetious. I get it. But at the end of the day, I think this does more damage than good. The Game Talk says, you're rejoicing in response to the weeping of people who are distraught that their beloved franchise, which has touched millions of lives over 40-plus years, is being run into the ground. Something tells me that fanboys, it's not the fanboys who are toxic. Now we're brought into it, so there you can see that. But see, Scott doesn't let down. He doubles down. He goes on. That was on the 28th. He also says, apparently I'm a woke fascist. Well, you're an asshole is what you are. So there you go. Let's see. Now he wants to talk about the box office experts. Well, it's funny how we want to talk about The Force Awakens being the most successful Star Wars film, but we do have to take inflation into account. God, wow, where am I today? And the original one wins, just hands down. The first Star Wars movie was seen by more people, has sold more tickets. There's no debate about that. The numbers and facts don't lie unless you want to twist it and say, well, only because of this way. Well, The Force Awakens also comes from a 10-year gap, a lot of hype and excitement, and people were thinking, well, we're being sold the originals. There's Han Solo, there's Luke Skywalker, there's Princess Leia. We've never thought we'd see this shit again. And so they get it, and they all go. Some were happy, some were apathetic, and some were angry like me. Now, the people that were super happy obviously went back to see The Last Jedi, or they went to see The Force Awakens a bunch of times. People that were apathetic didn't go back because they're like, it was okay. I went to see it because it was popular. Believe me, everyone has gone out to see a movie because it's popular. There's a reason why they market #1 movie in America, #1 this, #1 that. There's an episode of Third Rock from the Sun where they try to become more human. So they shun their individual identities that they have developed on Earth, and they go for what's the most popular thing. So they shop at the Old Navy, and they wear those stupid V-neck fleece things and the cargo khaki pants. How was this movie? #1 in America. Good enough for me. How's the meal? It's the most popular dish on the menu. It's good enough for me. See, there are a lot of people who do live their lives like that. So they have a problem with that as well, because when it was popular, they went to see it. Now there's like, it's not as popular. I'll wait for video. I didn't really like it. I'm not a Star Wars fan after all. Stuff like that. Plus, you had a lot of parents taking their kids. This is what I experienced as a child. Daddy, I didn't like that movie. Okay, you don't have to watch the next one. And then Dad goes with his friends, and then Dad didn't even like the next one. So it's kind of like, So, again, Scott just keeps going on and on and on about this stuff. I really don't think Scott Kalora is somebody that I will be following in the future. But here we go. Let's try something. I'm going to attempt to tweet every shot from The Empire Strikes Back. Oh, never mind. I don't care about you, Scott. You're not that clever. You're not that clever. We had some super chats pop in. First off, from Ref Dealing, thank you very much. Sup, Jeff, heading to work. Yesterday was my mom's birthday, and the day before was my brother's. Well, happy birthday to the mother of Mareth Dealing, and happy birthday to the brother of Mareth Dealing. Mother and brother of Mareth Dealing, you have a good son/brother. Mapawan says, good afternoon, Mr. Shitter. Speaking of shitting on people, have you saw/heard about the Star Wars Explained video and Kathleen Kennedy signing the contract? No, I don't watch Star Wars Explains videos at all. I don't know anything they produce. I'm sorry, Mapawan. I'll have to check that out, though, after this show. Reed Palancha, thank you very much. I think it was all said when the Episode 9 production photos got little to no interest. The current news just adds more distance between the product and consumers. Well, Reed Palancha, that is a point Grace Randolph made, and that's also something that we covered here on the channel, because what was it, 2 months ago? See, I remember specific dates. I remember specific things. I remember being really pumped about, leaked photos from Avengers or this, that. And it's so weird, too, to say how much I like Avengers and how much I dislike Star Wars, because they're both things I liked as kids. They're both franchises that I got onto, early on, and then, and Disney owns them, but they kind of suck. Well, they're about to suck with Marvel. I can't judge it yet, but no. I did see that. We covered it. They were very underwhelming set photos. Even the new photos from Jon Favreau's TV show seem to be, very underreported. I think that comes from a lack of Star Wars excitement. Maybe because we're so far out, and the way social media works is it's got to be, tomorrow. Oh my God, the trailer drops tomorrow. I only care about it for this short period of time, and then I'm so focused on myself and taking selfies. That's all I care about. I don't know. But Grace was right. Reed Palancha, you were right. There wasn't a lot of hype and excitement for those photos. They weren't cool. They were like, oh, here's a picture of a tree, and it says keep out, Star Wars is here. Okay, here's Poe Dameron and Finn, and they look like they're on a riding mission for the Horse Whisperer. Great, sounds awesome, can't wait. Oh wait, Rian Johnson calls me all these terrible things, not gonna give it my money. But we'll see. Plus, with Episode 9's release next Christmas, you see, Episode 9 is very fortunate for one thing. We're in the this is the first non-Toys R Us Christmas in 50, 60 years. There's no Toys R Us in America. I know there's some in Canada. You don't have to tell me. Believe me, I'm jealous. But in the U.S., we do not have Toys R Us. This is the first year where Star Wars wouldn't have a big shelf at Toys R Us. Well, here's the thing. Star Wars would have a presence at Toys R Us. Without Toys R Us, these other stores don't consider Star Wars the same holy cow, sacred cow. Like at my local Walmart, Star Wars is about 3 action figures wide, a little sliver of merchandise. People aren't buying it. People didn't buy it when it was a $1 whatever for the figures, and then went to $5 for the Black Series. That didn't even clear it out at my Walmart. They had some stuff. So they still got their backlog of Solo Star Wars story action figures. And then if that was Christmas this year, where would they go? I mean, retailers have learned their lesson about Star Wars merchandise. Episode 9, thankfully, will have a year for them to figure out where do they put the toys at, all toys around Christmas time. I mean, they're testing it out with the Halloween stores. They're going to put, Party City is going to have a Toy City. That's a cool concept. We'll see how it works. Because if they don't put out the new stuff, if they just put out old Toys R Us buyout shit at a lower price, it didn't sell the first time. It's not going to sell a second time. So this is a very important Christmas. And if Episode 9 had to go up against that, the merchandise would have tanked. Yeah, there would have been more excuses, but it would also have been a smaller bottom line, which would have been funny for someone like me. Seth Blakely, thank you very much. My theory is that they're extending her contract so she can step down on her own after episode 9. Disney respects Whammon. KK and her fans save face. Crisis averted. But I'm an optimist. Well, Seth, that's an interesting point. Let me analyze that a little more. I also have thought about the possibility that this is just a saving face movement or move for Kathleen Kennedy because, like they say, it's all about the optics out in Hollywood. They want to look good. You know, it's not about what really goes on beneath the surface. It's about what it looks like, this bright, sunny, happy place. You know, oh, Kathleen and her great story group and this, that, and the other. But in the climate we work in or live in now with the, you know, all these movements, if she got fired, they would make it a sexist thing. They couldn't make it about, hey, you're unqualified for your job. They always have. It's funny how they say, why do you have to bring in gender in this one, talking about stories? Well, why do you have to bring that in when somebody's unqualified for a job? You know, she's got, how old is she, or how long has she worked in Hollywood? 40 plus years. She's been in Hollywood for about, what, 39 years, I think. I think she came in at 1979. Is a secretary for Spielberg, was bad at her job, kept her around for ideas. There's a lot of people that speculate she's got some dirt on powerful people, and that's how she got the job. I'm not making those claims. I'm just saying what I've heard people say. What I'm saying is, I think that she is liked out there and that she is going to remain in her job, but probably just as a figurehead, not as somebody who's actively making creative decisions. Because we'll never know. Like I said last week, until there's a big Sony email style leak from Disney, we won't know. And Disney's not stupid enough to have shit security. Like, I'll give Disney credit. They do have the best stuff in terms of like money to, you know, make their things better. But I digress. No, but we'll find out more down the road. I do think that she will show up to Star Wars Celebration, and I think she will get thunderous applause. Because the people that will be there will... The people that aren't happy with the movies, that aren't going to help it make a bunch of money, aren't going to go to Celebration. We're going... Here's the thing. Anyone that wants to use me, Ethan, and Jeremy as an example for, you don't like these movies, why do you see them? Well, we have all of you. We tell you our honest opinions. We report this stuff to you. You know, we've done it for the last year. We're going to keep doing it and keep doing it. Star Wars Celebration isn't really about us going to give Disney our money. It's like a reporting event for us. And two, it's a time to meet the fans. Chicago's a very centrally located area. We're going to have everybody from the Geeks and Gamers people, all the guys from my channel, and Ethan will be there too. So for us, it's going to be a little different. But a lot of people that are going to go are going to dress up in their fucking stupid Stormtrooper costumes that are 501st approved. They're going to roll around. They're going to act like they're in the movies and all this other stuff. And they're the ones that are going to blindly accept the movies. So they're going to applaud Kathleen Kennedy. And if Ryan Johnson shows up and J.J. Abrams, all these people are just going to be like, yay, they're here, my heroes, more Star Wars. And those people are going to cheer. And then these people, like the Scotts and the Chris Agars, are going to report that the Star Wars Celebration atmosphere was electric and everyone's so excited and it got thunderous applause and a standing ovation for the trailer reveal and all this and all that. And they're going to think again that they've defeated the fandom menace, or whatever you want to call the wider group, the people that didn't like the movie. And so they're going to be riding high. They're going to be banking on that ego, and they're going to be rolling into December. And then people that weren't excited for this movie are going to go see Wicked or Jumanji or something else. And then the people that are angry with Star Wars are going to boycott it out of anger and not see anything that weekend. And then you are going to have your contingent of people who go to see the movie, and it's going to make money. I can't act like it's not going to make money, but it does have a possibility of not being the number one at the weekend box office. Was it December 20th of 2019? It's a possibility. Not a guarantee, but it's a possibility. And, you know, this isn't my guess, but this is my hopes. I do hope Jumanji comes out at number one the week before, and then Wicked takes the number one spot. Jumanji is number two, and Star Wars opens at number three. That's what I want. I want them to realize Star Wars isn't untouchable. You guys, Solo wasn't just the first failure. It was the first step in the decline of Star Wars. So the next one made less, and then next and next and next. And then I hope your streaming service is a dumpster fire. I hope all these terrible things. But do I bank the channel? Is that the channel's official stance? No, it's just my personal hopes. Episode 9 will probably debut at number one, but I don't think it'll make the money they're hoping. Wicked has a possibility. It's funny. A movie like Star Wars, that they want to make a more female-centric film, historically, which has been a male, oriented thing, or just going on percentages, you put out something that may skew more towards women with Wicked, or not Wicked. Wicked's not coming out. It's what is it now? It wasn't Wicked. It was I don't know. It was some other musical that's coming out. They changed it. Oh, Cats. Cats is what it is. Shit, Cats may beat Star Wars. Who knows? David Hervey says Star Wars has a big clearance shelf at my local stores. Now, I haven't been to my local stores in months, dude. So, I haven't been there in many. Looking for Star Wars, at least. I did the Star Wars toy video the other week, and I didn't even go to plan. I didn't go there to film a video. I went there to buy some stuff, and I found it. So that's how the Star Wars videos come to be. I'm not a fan of Cats either, at all. But I do think it's going to make some money. Not my money, but some money. So it's funny how we had all this Star Wars doom and gloom, and now we have some stupidity coming from 20th Century Fox. So last week we had the reveal of I called it the Derp Phoenix trailer because I wasn't excited. We had that. And now we have some more news, some dumber news. This came out on Friday after we've gone off the air because we didn't have any streams over the weekend. I tried to do an art stream, and for some reason I had technical issues. So it wasn't meant to be. But check this out. Oh, wait. There we go. Let's try this again. There we go. So, Fox shifts more Marvel release dates. It's fair to say this is the dumbest move on the planet. On Friday, Fox quietly announced a number of big release date changes to its Marvel slate. And so now we're taking a look at what some of those mean for the future, as well as why the studio keeps making dumb decisions. Well, let's see. Dark Phoenix is delayed again, one day after the trailer hits. And I love the face they got for McAvoy right there. I almost said McElroy. Isn't McElroy a fucking tennis player? No, golfer. I'm not a golfer. The dude can tell you that. But last week, Fox released the first poster and trailer for Derp Phoenix. And while the response from fans was mixed, it certainly did a lot to get moviegoers excited for the return to this universe one final time. However, in a truly baffling move, Fox sent those materials out with February 14th, 2020 release dates, and then delayed it again until June 7th. It's been reported that the delay is either down to VFX work being needed for the reshoots or because Fox wants a strong debut in China as possible. But it's beyond stupid. That just shows you how clueless the studio is and what a troubled movie the sequel is. We'll get to those issues in a little later, but this is surprising. But this surprisingly wasn't the dumbest move by Fox on Friday. Okay, so now I'm going to learn something new because, see, I knew about the Derp Phoenix move. I was like, okay, you get the trailer out. I wasn't excited. I thought, next year. But, oh, wait, do they mean 2019 instead of 2020? Because how dumb would it be for a movie to have almost 2 years till it comes out? I've said on the record for this channel before, I don't think this movie's ever going to happen. Or was it the New Mutants one? I don't think the New Mutants movie will ever happen. We'll find out. Let's find out together. See, I like these here on the channel where it's like, what's next? Well, let's find out together. So, as we wait, Gambit has another release date. Really? Oh, shit. Gambit was originally supposed to reach theaters way back in 2016, but Fox isn't willing to let Lauren Schuler Donner and Simon Kinberg's passion project die, and there's now another release date. That's despite the fact that fans have made it clear they don't want to see, and the loss of a number of directors who clearly felt the same way, that they wouldn't be able to polish this turd to a halfway decent movie. Now, Gambit has been pushed back from June 7th, 2019 to March 3rd of 2020. Considering the fact that the Disney-Fox merger goes through next summer and Kevin Feige intends to reboot those characters for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Fox wasting their time and ours by even announcing this change and pouring money into a movie which will never, ever see the light of day is nothing short of moronic. I kind of like the way this writer writes. Who wrote this? Please don't be... Okay, so it's Josh Winding. All right, Josh Wilding. Cool, you're all right. You made me chuckle this morning after this bad Kathleen news. Oh, and it's going to be a sex comedy. What? By the way, this is fantastic artwork right here. Say what you want. Say what you will about how unnecessary Gambit is and what a bizarre casting decision it is to have Channing Tatum, or Charming Taint Man as we say on this channel, play the hero. The movie could actually be pretty good in the right hands given the character's history with both the Thieves and Assassins Guild. Simon Kinberg, however, has described the movie as having a romantic or sex comedy vibe to it, which makes absolutely no sense at all. This just shows what little understanding Fox has when it comes to these characters, and explains why the horror-based superhero movie they intended to make with the New Mutants has been a disaster. What could possibly go wrong? You remember X-Men The Last Stand, right? It pretty much killed the franchise, hence why X-Men First Class served as a semi-reboot. And Simon Kinberg was partially responsible for that, as he penned the screenplay. So why not let the guy who dropped the ball and helped make Fantastic Four an epic disaster basically retell the story, but this time while he makes his directorial debut? Fox has put a blockbuster costing hundreds of millions of dollars in the hands of a man who has never directed anything beyond Fantastic Four's reshoots, and is going to tell a story we've already seen in a slightly different manner. You only need to look at Dark Phoenix's trailer for the proof that this is looking as almost identical. You only need to look at Dark Phoenix trailer for proof as it looks almost identical beyond some minor cosmetic changes. Now, with the expensive reshoots taking place and yet another delay, the studio making a huge financial loss is guaranteed. So much has been spent. Whoa. Bad night of sleep will do that for you. False promises. Fox has shown itself to be utterly incompetent that both of the movies, which were set to be released in 2019, have now been delayed well into 2020. However, that's not the only time the studio has let fans down. Remember back in 2012 when Mark Millar was set to serve as a consultant on their Marvel Comics adaptation? Despite the press release being sent out, that quickly fell apart when Matthew Vaughn decided against directing X-Men Days of Future Past and chose Kingsman instead. Well, I'm very thankful that went down because Kingsman kicked ass. What's the deal with New Mutants anyway? One movie which wasn't included in Fox release date shuffle was The New Mutants. That's still scheduled to hit theaters next August, after originally being penciled for this April. I remember going to see the fucking poster at the theater thinking, this looks kind of cool. This is going to be a cool movie. No, haven't seen it yet. The question is, why hasn't it taken Dark Phoenix's vacated February slot? Because even after reshoots, surely it will be finished by then. At this stage, it's hard to imagine it's ever being released, unless it's via Netflix. For reasons which are still aren't entirely clear, both director Josh Boone dropped the ball with this movie in a big way, and that's why reshoots have been ordered to add characters and completely change the tone. If New Mutants is anything other than a Fantastic Four-shaped disaster, we'll be shocked. They don't understand what fans want. Yeah, it's true. I don't really care. I want to get to the Deadpool news. That's the dumbest news. There we go. Here we go. Deadpool 2 goes PG-13 because Deadpool saying mother is just too offensive for people out there. Fox is onto a good thing with the Deadpool franchise, but do you remember when Marvel totally overexposed the Merc with a mouth in the comic books and the fans subsequently grew sick of him? I do. Well, it appears to be the same thing. It appears that the same thing could happen in live action too, because not only have we had Deadpool 2 and Deadpool 2 the Super Duper cut this year, but a PG-13 version will also hit theaters on December 21st. What we don't know right now is whether or not it's going to be an edited cut of the R-rated movie or if it will include new scenes, but the former option seems more likely right now. It also looks to include it also looks set to include both bookends for Deadpool, basically narrating the story, but it feels like a shameless cash grab, and it's not good news for fans. Opening the same day as Aquaman and Bumblebee is going to hurt both of these movies, something which could deal yet another blow to the struggling DC Extended Universe and put an end to the new Transformer era before it begins. I thought this was fake when I heard that Deadpool 2 was getting a PG-13 cut. I was just like, oh God, what is happening? Let's see. If you need to further proof that Fox is destined to keep dropping the ball, look no further than Dark Phoenix trailer, Simon Kinberg, blah, blah, blah. So, guys, it's all doom and gloom for entertainment right now. Can Marvel Studios save the day? Fuck them. Disney CEO Bob Iger has confirmed that the plans for Marvel Studios to reboot the X-Men and Fantastic Four franchises and bring the characters into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But will too much damage have been done by that point? It's telling that Fox has dropped the X-Men from the X-Men Dark Phoenix in North America, and hard not to wonder if Marvel has pushed for that in order to distance the movie from what they have planned in the not-too-distant future, hopefully by 2021/22. Either way, Fox has done a lot of damage to these characters in recent years. Sure, Logan was extremely well-received, and Deadpool 2 was loved, but most of the main X-Men franchises have suffered greatly, as have Fantastic Four. Once upon a time, Fox delivered some of the greatest comic book movies ever with the likes of X2, X-Men United, but those days have come and gone. Yeah, well, it's not about going, it's more coming. Anyway, that was a depressing article to read because Star Wars is in the shitter. Non-Marvel, actually all of Marvel is in the shitter. What do we have to look forward to as a community? All right, so people are talking about Deadpool. Yeah, why would you go see a PG-13 Deadpool when you can watch number 2 at home, rated R cut? You know, you've already bought the Blu-ray, or you can watch the super duper cut. Now, I've gone on record to say that Deadpool 2 is disappointing to me. It was better. Was it better than Black Panther? I'm going to go with yeah, but barely. I don't know. You can go back and listen to my actual reviews. But going off of memories, I know that I left Deadpool 2 less than happy. I thought the jokes were flat this time around. I didn't like the little kid. Ryan Reynolds is great. He's a really great comedic actor. The funny thing is, when I think of Ryan Reynolds, I don't think of Deadpool. I don't think of that Sandra Bullock movie. I think of one thing, and I think of Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. When he takes off his mask and he goes, marijuana, but why? Ryan Reynolds has always been a funny dude to me, and I like the casting choice as Deadpool, but I think he, as well as everyone else over at Fox, has become too self-aware, and now Deadpool's just kind of, I don't know, what's the right word to say? Too self-aware is a good way to describe it. It's like they're in on the joke and we're not. Or it's like they're too into the joke or too in on the joke. I'm just not into the joke anymore myself. I get it. He's funny. He cusses. He loses a body part. It grows back. He's got little baby legs. He has a baby hand. All that stuff. That's great that you're hitting those same points over and over again. But I just really hate the gray color palette and the offbeat X-Men characters that they use. I thought maybe one of the best jokes from Deadpool 2 was when he talks about the other people and the X-Men are behind the door. That was exciting to me. Let's see. Swinging Cod says, at least Shazam looks badass. Look forward to that. Well, Swinging Cod, thank you and good morning. And yeah, I do look forward to that. I do. I'm actually going to go see Aquaman. I'm not going to go see Deadpool, the PG-13 cut. I bought Deadpool 1 on Blu-ray. I have yet to watch it. It's still in the damn wrapper. I know people are saying it's not just the PG-13 cut. It'll have additional footage and stuff. But unless it's Freddy Got Fingered that has a PG version, which is 2 minutes long and hilarious, I don't really see the point in this. It almost seems mean-spirited to try to derail Aquaman. I hope Aquaman can beat Deadpool 2, the PG-13 cut, just to say, like, hey, DC has fucked up, and Aquaman doesn't look fantastic, but at least it's going in the right direction. I'll always stick with the R-rated cut of the film. That's never up for debate. There are some movies that have R-rated edits or, unrated cuts that suck or are better. Like the Punisher unrated cut is better because it has more story. And then there are other movies that just get more cuss words, and that doesn't make them funny. Now, Die Hard, Live Free or Die Hard, does have an unrated cut, and it does add the language back, and that's a hallmark of John McClane, much like the violence and the language are a hallmark of Deadpool. And I don't see them actually being able to tell that story and make it funny. I firmly believe that this is a test from Disney to see if people will accept a PG-13 Deadpool. And, you know, there are the blind Funko Pop loyalists that'll go, I gotta see it's Deadpool, I gotta see it. The same fucking people that have those little baby Deadpools on their car for each child they have, and they have the Deadpool tattoo, and then in like 10 years they won't like Deadpool. They're like, well, I liked it then. And they try to get their tattoo changed to Spider-Man, and it looks just like a broke dick Spider-Man, like Deadpool truly is, a broke dick Spider-Man. But I digress. My point is, Deadpool is a very flash in the pan character. I look at a lot of people who don't really like comic books that like Deadpool. They get the shit, they buy, they spend the money, and then after a couple years, they're like, I don't really follow it anymore. And then you got the people that are like me that love Spider-Man, and they'll follow it for decades, but then it gets shitty, and then they won't follow it because it got bad. Deadpool necessarily, in the comics, didn't get as bad as other characters. There are some great Deadpool comics out there, but I think the expiration date for the Deadpool joke is about to hit. I have not. I would rather watch The Room as well. The Room's fantastic. I watched it on what, Saturday night. By the way, there's an edit of The Room with a world-class bullshitters commentary out there. I don't know exactly how to get it to you guys, but it's old. The commentary's your channel. It's pretty dirty. We talk about all kinds of stuff. So it's not for the faint of heart. Don't watch it with your kids. I've never seen the Rogue cut of X-Men Days of Future Past. Am I above seeing it? No, because Days of Future Past was an awesome X-Men flick. It might be tied for my second favorite. X2 is my favorite, then that one. Logan was good too. But no, I have not seen that cut. I don't really like having to watch multiple different cuts of the same movie. Doesn't mean they shouldn't exist, but Blade Runner is significantly different in all the cuts. Enough that I, warrant owning them all. Plus, they came in a box set. Star Wars, there may be different edits that exist. There's the 77, the 97, the 04, and the 2011 cut. But it's essentially the same movie that has minimal differences, especially between 97 and 11 or 2011. They're just so small in terms of changes. It's so minute. But I'm not against having alternate cuts, alternate edits. Put them both out. Put them out there for the world to determine which they like more. And, maybe you look at the Blu-ray sales and say, well, the Rogue cut made so much more money. We should follow that one in continuity's sakes. Rogue was actually good. I gave it a good review. I didn't think it was a bad film at all. We were actually really, really hyped when I saw it. We all came out of the theater. Dustin called me, dude, did you see it? It was so great. I'm like, I know. It wasn't like the last one. And it wasn't like the last one. They duped me. I bought the Blu-ray. I didn't cut it up like Ethan and Jeremy cut their Blu-rays up. I did keep my copy. I can see it. It's next to Indiana Jones and Stranger Things. But, it's funny. Somebody said my cynicism is showing. Well, you know what? I'm burned out on all the shit that was good and that I liked that got ruined by people's quest for more money for corporate control and greed. If it was like all sunshine and rainbows and I was the dark cloud, I'm self-aware enough to know that it's my problem. But you're milking the good shit. You're trying to make it for kids now. And you take Star Wars, the greatest franchise of all time, and you turn it into a social experiment. It's hard not to be cynical. It's hard to care about when the companies that are involved with all this shit don't care either. So, show me what franchise has been shown the respect it deserves. Die Hard, no. Terminator, no. Star Wars, no. Spider-Man, no. James Bond, kinda. Not really, but kinda. I mean, these things out there today, Doctor Who has not been shown the respect it deserves since, like, Tennant left. Matt Smith is pretty good. The Capaldi era went downhill. It's not even a woman thing with Jodie Whittaker. It's, all that shit. Batman, not in a good place either. I mean, name me a franchise that's better off today than it used to. I'll wait. We lived through the Dark Knight trilogy. It's been a decline ever since. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has been solid. If I have to, honestly, I have to take out Captain Marvel because it's not out. But everything else has been pretty damn stellar, and that's why we get the way we get when we think about what could be next. But until then, show me another franchise that's been fucking fantastic. John Wick, there you go. John goddamn Wick, Back to the Future, hasn't been trying, or hasn't been touched. Evil Dead, I'll go with Evil Dead as well. I like Evil Dead. All of them. The remake is okay. 2 and Army of Darkness are the best. 1 is good, and the remake is pretty solid too. So there's really not a lot to worry about there. And Halloween could be making a comeback. I'm so excited for that movie. You guys don't understand. I've joined all these Facebook groups, and I subsequently left those Facebook groups because I'm tired of seeing people talk about Rob Zombie Halloween. Like, I've spent so many like unfollowed minutes because it's like, Rob Zombie really should remake Psycho. Rob Zombie should really remake Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I'm like, look, enough with this trash Billy horror shit, okay? It failed at the box office. People aren't talking about it except this one fucking dude. Rob Zombie can kiss my ass. That's all I can say. Rob Zombie can kiss my ass. You see, Back to the Future is safe until Zemeckis and Gale die because they've gone on record to say they're not going to remake it and they won't allow it. They hold the rights. So thankfully, you have 2 people that aren't desperate for money. They've had successful careers that they focus on and respect the thing that made them famous. The Rocky series, yeah, it's fine. Creed was legit. Rocky 5 sucks. The other 4 are good. Creed's good. I haven't seen all of it, so from what I've seen, I like it enough. So yeah, Rocky's doing okay. But overall, what else are we looking at? The big ones. Star Trek is in the shitter. All the big ones are in the shitter. And it's intentional because they keep hiring the Simon Kinbergs and J.J. Abrams and all this little coterie of people that keep getting work. Well, hey, they made this movie 12 years ago and it was successful, so we're going to keep bringing it on. It's like Nolan with Batman. Look, if the Nolan movies were great, I don't really think you need to follow the Nolan structure for the new DCEU. Man of Steel, too dark and grim. They wanted to kill off Batman, according to Zack Snyder now. So all this shit has been changed. They're always searching for that high. Like, Hollywood's a drug addict. They got their high with The Dark Knight, the Avengers, this, that, and the other. And everyone's chasing that high. Now, DC's chasing to get the respect in the box office. Marvel is chasing to get another perfect storm of Black Panther with Captain Marvel. There's so many of these places that just want to try and achieve what they have in the past, and they won't work on focusing on building something new. With Star Wars, they're just trying to get the emotion from the past back, and they didn't even build a new story. It was disappointing to say the least. The new Predator does suck, according to Mauler, which I haven't seen and I will not watch. I don't know why you'd kill off Batman. I don't know why you'd kill off Batman in the slightest bit. He's not a character that needs to go. He's an evergreen character. You can put him in gritty situations. You can put him in situations where you see his wiener. And then you can also put him in situations where he's in outer space, and it works. You put the little bat breather on there, and Batman's off fighting next to Green Lantern and the Green Lantern Corps. So, let's see. Question. You meet Sylvester Stallone for the first time ever. You have the chance to get him to autograph a Rocky movie, but only when you have his Rocky 5. What do you picture? If Stallone's going to autograph me a copy of Rocky 5 for free, I guess I'll take it. I don't own a copy of Rocky anything, actually. But, yeah, I'll take an autographed copy of Rocky 5, 1,000. Do I think Hollywood is dying? Yeah, I do. And I think that they fear... I'm not saying this channel particularly, but YouTube has given a platform to a lot of people that are more entertaining, that are hungrier than these people out there in Hollywood. You get fat, you get lazy out in Hollywood. They just buy into their ideals. You got these old timers that aren't ready to go and give it up, hang it up. So what they do is they sit and they posture. They talk about politics. They try to turn people that have valid ideas in terms of story, and they try to pick apart them at a different level, make them subhuman, and keep themselves in power and be dominant. Well, Hollywood is a lot darker than we realize. We learn all of these stories about, these evil men and the women that like Roman Polanski and promote him and, applaud him and, at the Oscars and shit like that. And, these are dark, terrible human beings. I don't want to call them humans. Jabba the Hutt's more of a human being than they are. But people are fed up with the same shit. I don't think your average person that's fed up with Hollywood is fed up because of the darkness behind the scenes. They're fed up with the lack of originality. Fox, at one point, one of the best movie studios out there, they can't get a fuck win to save their lives because they keep pumping out shit. Deadpool's a rare exception, but with these Marvel movies, I mean, let's look at every single one they've ever done. Okay? X-Men in 2000, good movie. X2, better movie. 2003 also gave us Daredevil. Not that good of a movie. Then we go to 2005 with the Fantastic Four, and that kind of sucked. 06, X-Men 3, kind of sucked. 07, Fantastic Four 2, really sucked. 08 didn't have anything. 2009 had X-Men Origins Wolverine, shitty movie. 2010, nothing, I believe. 2011, First Class, good. 2012, nothing. 2013 was Days of Future Past, right? Was that 2013 or 14? No, 2013 was the Wolverine. 2014 was Days of Future Past. 15 was Fantastic, garbage. 16 was Deadpool. 17 was Apocalypse, sucked ass. 18 was Deadpool 2. Pretty solid movie. Would you take Rocky 5 to be autographed by Tommy Gunn? Yes, I would. I'd go to his grave and say, Mr. Gunn, I know you died like 20 years ago. Would you mind signing my Rocky copy, please? Please, I'm a big fan. Oh, your arm came off. I guess I'll be keeping that as my souvenir. Let's see. In the last decade, the Hollywood studios announced they will look after their environment craze. What happened since then? They built more Disney parks. That's what they're looking after the environment for, to see how they can make more money. 2017 also had Logan. Yeah. Stop ignoring Blade. Damn it. I'm not ignoring Blade, but Blade is a New Line Cinema picture. So we're talking only Fox. Blade was New Line in 1998, now owned by Warner Brothers. Well, maybe New Line was always a Warner Brothers division. I don't know. But Blade was not Fox. Pretty sure it was New Line because it had that red New Line Pictures logo. Do I like John Candy movies? And so did I mourn his passing. I do like John Candy movies, but I was also like 5 years old when he died. So I knew he was dead, and that was kind of it. I mean, when you're a little kid, you don't really think of those things. But yeah, I wish he was still around. I think John Candy had some great performances left in him. So did Phil Hartman. And Chris Farley. A lot of those guys could have been great. Brad Noble says, go Brewers, the Cubs are porg taint. All right, Brad Noble. Folks, you can send in all your super chats to hear me rip on your most hated sports teams because I don't have any allegiance. So if you want to hear me shit on them, do what Brad does. I'll go on for an hour on why the Cubs are porg taint. I don't care. I don't care who I alienate. It'll be for a good laugh. Harry Carey style. Let's see. Monster movies, bring them on. I agree, more monster movies, yeah. Cool Runnings is 25 years old, Jeff. Yeah, I feel old. I feel old. Not really. I'm 29. Moopty, thank you very much for your super chat. Hollywood has been looking down on its audience for years. We've been paying them to constantly insult us, and people are starting to wake up to that. Yes, that is true. We are waking up to it. It's not about being woke. It's about being woken up to what's going on right now. And I think if Hollywood were to take the approach that a channel like ours does, where we care about the people and try to do, people just want to feel special. They want to feel engaged. They want to have a good time. When I walk out of certain movies like Infinity War, I just felt like I got what I paid for and what I waited for. I felt happy. And then all the media and stuff surrounding it was pretty positive too. Then we go to, I'm trying to think of other movies, like John Wick. Something I didn't expect to be awesome was awesome. I just left happy. That's what I want. If the movie's tone is to make you feel happy, because there's some movies you're supposed to leave kind of like, ooh, like spooky. Like if you watch the original Halloween, oh, Michael Myers got shot and he fell out the window. And then Loomis goes to look and he's gone. And then she's like, it was the boogeyman. As a matter of fact, I think it was. And then, then he looks out the window. My point is, you're like, oh my God, he's still out there, and you hear the breathing and you're supposed to feel scared and nervous and tense. There's a lot going on. But other movies, like an Avengers, you're supposed to leave happy, you left happy. Those movies achieve so much. And I'm not afraid to praise them, even though they're owned by Disney, because it would be disingenuous for me to say everything Disney does is complete and utter dog shit. Now, I do think it's accurate, at least in my opinion, to say everything that Lucasfilm has done since Disney has acquired them has sucked ass. I don't watch Rebels. I've watched half an episode with the first appearance of Darth Vader. I wasn't impressed. I don't like 7 and 8. Now, Solo and Rogue One are better than the other two, but the more time passes, like Solo is, I don't know. I don't leave happy. I just left apathetic, like, that was it. And then I told you guys, Rogue One got me pumped, but the more I watched, the more I realized I was duped. So, Mupti, I don't really like being looked down to by an entertainment studio. The funny thing is, the people that go to watch the movies are smarter than the people that make them. You do have your intelligent directors. You do have your intelligent actors, the people that went to Harvard, like Natalie Portman, who just don't. She looks down on people. She thinks she's better. We've admitted that she's the head of our Voltron. We've shown that here on the channel. But yeah, that is a interesting point. And actually, it's a very valid point to make. They constantly insult us. So you'd think when people have social media and access to all these things that Hollywood would try to, instead of doubling down and attacking us even more and trying to dehumanize us, they would try to maybe, I don't know, make us happy, give us an experience that makes us go out and see these movies. Or maybe are they trying to condition people to stop going to theaters and stay home for Netflix, and they pump their stuff out on Netflix, they buy the Netflix equivalent and make their money that way and cut out the middleman. Who knows? Entertainment's in a weird place right now. The late 2010s will be, it's the turning point for the future of entertainment. Do people still go out and see these movies? Do they stay home? All kinds of questions will be answered in the next 3 to 5 years. We had a super chat from Thunder Robots. The Cubs are going to kill the Brewers. Oh, according to Thunder Robots, that's happening. So sorry, Brewers, you're going to die at the hands of the Cubs. Put some money on the Cubbies. Go back to the beginning of the season. They will make a feminist Blade film called Spoon, and she attacks the white vanilla. That sounds like an old Mad TV skit with Nicole Sullivan as Spoon. I'd watch that movie. Disney makes movies about Star Wars, not Star Wars movies. Very true. My friend used to think that I hate a lot of movies just to act cool. Then they watched The Last Jedi and understood where I was coming from. Most recent movies are soulless. They are. My uncle tried to tell me that I was wrong about The Last Jedi. I said, Uncle T-Bird, how many times have you watched a Star Wars movie? Oh, I haven't seen one since back in the day. Well, then shut up. I wasn't afraid to tell my uncle to shut up. Gamepad 31, I would like the theater going experience to stay around. I would. It would be a lot of fun for me it is a lot of fun for me to get together. Like when the guys come to town for my birthday party, which is 20 days from now. By the way, folks, you are in the final stretches of Stealing Solo. So if you're on the fence, jump over to the right side of the fence and pick up your copy because we're nearing the end of the campaign. It's been very successful, but it doesn't look like anybody's gonna get a stretch goal yet. So if you're waiting, help out your fellow bullshitter and grab a copy so you can get your stretch goal. But the group experience to the theater makes me happy. And I love going in with a group of people and you watch it and you're like, wow, that was awesome. And then you talk about it for days on end. When Joel and I saw the Avengers, I remember texting like, dude, on the Hulk. Because see, Joel called it. Joel said to me, I hope there's a scene where the Hulk tries to pick up Thor's hammer and he goes into the ground. And we saw that. And when we saw that fight in the helicarrier, we looked at each other like, oh shit, dude, that's what you called. And days later, we text each other. Remember when you called the Hulk, not being able to pick up Mjolnir? That was cool. That was a big group experience. Watching it at home just isn't the same. You find yourself distracted. Like when I go to a theater, I make sure I turn off my phone and I don't look at it and all this stuff. And I sit there and I consume the movie. At home, I'm guilty. Sometimes I watched Easy Money for the first time. I was busy reading the Wikipedia page for Rodney Dangerfield and then, going back to the movie. I don't know, the theater going away really will kill the big spectacle of entertainment, because then they'll use the excuse, well, we're going to produce small budget things here and there, and then you'll kill off the merchandise because you can't make what we do in the, well, you couldn't, never mind. I was going to say what we do in the shadows. That would be a cool toy. You can't make a Room action figure with Brie Larson. You can sell Captain Marvel because little kids can fly her around and do shit, but Room with Brie Larson where she wins an Oscar does not sell toys. So the back end of the industry will die off if they try to get everything into your home. Well, there was a different level of hype for the Spider-Man movie than there was the Spider-Man cartoon when I was a kid. Eddie Max Vandor says, Cleveland Indians rule all, go Tribe. There we go. Cleveland Indians rule all, go Tribe, says Eddie Max Vandor. Spoken here on World Class Bullshitters. Your megaphone of sports fandom. Cesare Japan, thank you very much. Welcome back. Is the reason why Hollywood is suddenly going woke because they don't want to change? They don't want to engage new things, take chances, make mistakes. That is very possible, Cesario Japan. Sometimes, like the old businessman that, needs to stop only taking cash and get a credit card and could do much more business, but he refuses to out of stubbornness. Maybe Hollywood wants the control. That's why they refuse to change. And that's why they're going woke. They're trying to pick another audience to control while they underestimate the education level of the consumer. I'm not saying every consumer has a college degree and has traveled the world and all this shit, but I'd say your average comic book reader is a little more it's not nuanced, that's what a comic book would be, is a little more well read than your average consumer of any other product, because comic books involve reading and you have to have an inherent love of reading. So with Star Wars fans, I know they want to argue that they're a bunch of angry white dudes, but I would say that their Star Wars fans cover everything, and I'd say on average your Star Wars fans are a little smarter, because Star Wars is a thing that respects literature and culture from all over the world, and you learn about these things and you find what makes Star Wars Star Wars, so you go and you read those, and being a fan of Star Wars opens you up to a whole new world of different things. They basically want the garbage consumerism, the independent. I like Independence Day, but like the Independence Day, the Armageddon, you go consume the movie and then you're done type of thing, because you won't criticize it. You'll go catch the big event because it's the big event, and then you go off. Franchises like Star Wars, I saw an interesting point on a Twitter post, and it said something along the lines of maybe Disney wants Star Wars to tank so they can wipe out the old fans and get a new, more obedient group of fans. Something along those lines. It's a paraphrase of a memory. And that made a really interesting point to me. I thought to myself, holy shit, what if that is the game plan? What if they truly want to push away everyone? Well, if that's the case, the only thing I can think of is to constantly talk about the Star Wars stuff, yet wait to support it. You know, keep your love of the old ones still around. Don't fall into the trap of just giving up. Apathy is their greatest weapon. Do not fall for it. Do not give them the power, okay? They don't have unlimited power. They're worried too. They're scrambling behind the scenes, because if they don't make their money for episode 9, poof, goodbye, Kathleen instantly. People are still talking about Rocky. Oh God, here we go. Brad Noble says the Brewer slept with your wife last night. Oh shit, the whole team slept with someone's wife. Whew, that guy's got to be pissed. Oh God, people are still. Well, they're losing money. Award show ratings are low. They can't make anything new and memorable. Well, Barbarella Alpha, you're right. They can't. Or, I think they won't, realistically. And if somebody were to say, Jeff, you now represent X, Y, and Z, and you have to determine what the people want. I think if I had to determine what people would want, is I think people want respect for something they love, like the franchise. So like if you're going to do more Star Wars, you respect all the characters and you create something new and you don't harp on the originals. You can do a callback as a nice little nod, but you don't need to do like literal reorchestrations of the old music to get people excited. Like when Han Solo is in the that mall or whatever during the Kessel Run, they just take old samples from A New Hope score and just slap them in there. That to me is lazy. Maybe you could throw a quick whatever leitmotif moment in there, but not the same exact music. Imagine if Jaws got rebooted with modern fans. Oh, I'd love that. We should do an SJW Jaws parody where Jaws just eats. Oh, that's happening. Oh my God. That's what I'll do. Let me write that one down. SJW Jaws. We'll find a way to make that a portmanteau, or the SJW Jaws. Imagine that he just eats the wokest of the woke. Like it's just like scenes of people on a beach talking about virtue signaling and all this gendered stuff, and just boom, Jaws eats you. Jaws shows no discrimination. He eats you left and right. And that'd be hilarious. Idris Elba's the shark. Why not? John Powell called it a tribute to John Williams. That's nice. He can call it a tribute to John Williams all he wants. I call it your movie was over budget, out of time, and you just copied some shit to get it done. What do you think the next phase of movies after superhero movies will be? After Avengers 4 comes out, I think that's the peak for the MCU. But after that, what will it be? Monsterverse DC? Well, they're trying to make sure it's not DC. My guess is, and I've said this before on the channel, I think the next phase of popular films will be like crazy crossovers. So we're gonna have Godzilla and King Kong again in 2020. That'll be crazy and fun. But down the road, you'll see like the Predator versus Boba Fett, or James Bond meets so and so, kind of like they did back in the 40s with the Wolfman, or the Universal Monsters meets Laurel and Hardy, stuff like that. I think that's the next phase, because we live in this world where all these media companies are going to buy up the big properties, and you can only remake a story so many times. Like, that's why you couldn't tell the origin of Spider-Man in Homecoming, because they just did it 5 years prior, and before that they did it 10 years prior. So this is the third Spider-Man reboot, and what would that be? 15 years. That's pretty much record time. And Spider-Man's origin, for as much as I love it, is not a timeless tale that can get retold. They did it right the first time. They got it all right. It was great, Peter went off to be a wrestler to win money. They just slightly altered it. Instead of trying to win money for Aunt May and Uncle Ben or whatever, or just because he wanted to win money, he wanted to win a car to impress MJ, and that makes sense in terms of a modern adaptation. And then, it's done right. Now they make it where he's a criminal that was, he stole milk. He didn't have 2 pennies. He let the guy go. All this other shit. And then Uncle Ben gets shot at a convenience store. It's just dumb. It's a reimagining. With superhero stuff, I think they'll still make it and people will still go, but the excitement won't be there. I don't know. I think with the Big Bang Theory being gone, man, your weekly messaging, or your weekly what's the phrase I'm looking for? Your weekly brainwashing's done, Penny, nobody answers the door. Use Land Shark. I remember Land Shark from old SNL skits. When SNL was funny. Not anymore. Not anymore. There we go. Supernatural versus Freddy Krueger. Now, that sounds like a fucking awesome concept. Seriously. That's a concept that I get behind. Seeing the Unseen. Thank you very much for your generous super chat. It's no surprise the left was trying to remarks like statues of people they hate. Then they do the same thing with characters we love in movies. Seeing the Unseen, some people, like a Dion, would say, well, this is conspiratorial. No, it's not. The best tactic like these people have is to, like, without you realizing it, and then one day you're just like, oh, it's gone, and then you're compliant with it the entire time because you don't realize it's happening. I think dissenting opinions in terms of entertainment are the scariest, because Hollywood bows down to one thing: money. Underneath it all, they bow down to just money and power. And power is money. Money is power to those people. They're interchangeable at many points in time. If you take away their power and their money, they don't have the ability to do anything they want anymore. And the fact that entertainment reaches such a broad audience, like, for example, they tore down statues in the South. What could I, what I'm saying? Like, I'm not there. I heard like days later on the news, stuff like that. I don't really know the thing. But now when they try to tear down Han Solo or Batman or James Bond, I'm there. And you got to understand, people from all over the world are there, because these movies reach different audiences all over the world. The Superman logo at one point was the most recognizable logo in existence. Even to this day, I see little kids rocking a t-shirt that probably have never seen Superman, but their parents know the Superman logo. They know what he represents. They put him in it. With these movies, with these TV shows, more people are invested. And I'm not saying that the preservation of Han Solo is more important than a historical landmark. I'm not going that far to say it. But what I'm saying is that the preservation of Han Solo it's more important to more people. I'm not saying it's more important overall, but that's why I think the movie stuff is going to be a harder sell, because with a static Confederate guy, like, well, he was a racist, he was this, he was that, and they could twist it, and people be like, and then they get confused and they don't know what to say. But if they say, well, we're tearing down Han Solo and James Bond because they represent, I'm like, and then people are like, no, they don't. I've watched those movies 10 times each. I know all the shit about the characters. You're the crazy one. So then people fight back, and it gets even more vicious. But seeing the unseen, I think you bring up an interesting point that I wish all 409 viewers would tell one friend about today. And then they'll tell somebody, and so on, just like the old commercial. But in all honesty, if you spread the word about this shit, people will begin to realize that this isn't some crazy conspiracy theory. This isn't some bizarre fantasy that we're trying to build up to get people to watch the YouTube channel. No, this is something that's out there every day. And they tried it with Star Wars, and it's not working. You can have all your Scott Agars or Chris Agars and Scott Caloras and all these other dickhead writers out there that want to go on and on about how, oh, this small vocal minority, and they're going to poke the bear and shit. But, there are a lot of us that are fed up with this shit. This is not a cross they want to bear because they will lose. Star Wars is the biggest thing ever and means a lot to people, more so than anything. I see people with Star Wars tattoos. I see people that have their kids dressed up as Star Wars characters. Maybe their kids like them, but those kids got into Star Wars because of their parents. You're taking away that generational excitement, especially with like somebody like Dion, who his kid doesn't like Star Wars. His kid's 5 years old, kind of like prime Star Wars age. No, Dion's not showing his kids these movies. They're not getting excited. It's funny. One of the grandmas tried to buy them Star Wars figures for the older one, and it was a giant Finn action figure and a giant stormtrooper, and those things they're downstairs in the basement collecting dust. Sonic the Hedgehog, other things. So kids aren't going to be buying Star Wars on their own. Parents kind of got to get them into it, and without the parents getting them into it, it's for reasons like this. So, by the way, folks, we have 411 viewers. Let's give the thumbs up 412 times, one extra for me because I can't myself. We had a pretty good time today. But thank you, Unseen. Maybe I should do an SJW Jaws comic. That'd be next. That should just be it. It'll just be like I already even got the cover in my head. I'm drawing it out as we speak. So it's the water with the shark underneath looking up at, and it's got like a soy boy kind of guy in a boat, and it just says SJWS. And people, that could be $1 million comic concept. Press 1 if you think I should do that. I will wait for a tank tread. I will do Stealing Solos in the almost done. I mean, it's not like, oh, I'll do that and then this. No, it's like, well, once I get through with this and this is successful, I'll do SJW Jaws. That could be kind of fun. That'd be another parody. We'd have a series of great parody comics. And you guys could, at different tiers, oh my God, at different levels of funding, you guys could pick who gets eaten by SJW Jaws. And you have to tell why, and we'll write it in the comic. Like, Derek from Anaheim says, eat Angela Merkel or some shit like that. That's the first name that popped into my head. That could be kind of fun. Why not? Jaws will be, 45 years old in 2020? Great way to celebrate it. Oh, there we go. Lots of ones. Social justice. I think I'm going to rate that one. There we go. I could pump that out. We could do it in a Mad Magazine style. That could be pumped out in a couple weeks. That'd be a lot of fun. Video or the Star Wars Explained video just got here. Nicholas Glenn, I have not. First off, thank you for joining us this morning. I have not had a chance to see the Star Wars Explained video. Let me see what the title is and read some of the comments so I can at least get an idea of what I'm going to be watching after I get off the air today, because I got all kinds of stuff to take care of. So let's see. By the way, make sure you do not miss tomorrow night's High Council. It will be here on World Class Bullshitters, and it's going to be the craziest one because it's the first time the High Council has been together since Kathleen Kennedy was fired. Or not fired, excuse me, since Kathleen Kennedy's contract was renewed. I'm projecting there, excuse me. But it's going to be a crazy night. It's going to be a fucking crazy night. So, Stars Explained. Okay. I'm looking. What's the video I'm going to be looking for? Kathleen Kennedy extends the contract, or will Cad Bane return? Wookiees and Stormtroopers. The canon update. I don't know. I've never watched any of these videos. Now, this isn't a knock on Star Wars Explained because he seems like a cool dude. Is it a dude? Say it seems like a cool person. But I get my Star Wars information from the content that is produced. So instead of me going to watch a YouTube video on like who is Cad Bane, I'll just go watch the episode of Clone Wars or experience it myself. Same thing with Comics Explained. I don't like that channel, not because I have a problem with Rob. He's got a cool voice. I don't necessarily like everything he says, but what I don't like is the fact that it takes away the need to read a comic book. Comic books are a labor-intensive product. I mean, Steve Ditko spent those pages of Spider-Man. Stanley took 10 minutes to write the stories because he gets too much credit. But my point is, I think you disrespect the craftsmanship of all these things when you watch an abridged version. A news article is different because it's made to tell you about a current event. But a comic book or a TV show or something, that is a labor-intensive entertainment product that deserves to be consumed, depending on what your tastes are, over just watching a brief summary like Cliff Notes. I don't think reading a book or reading the Cliff Notes is the same as a book. And sometimes your test results show just that. But no, I have not seen that, Nicholas Glenn. Brad Noel says, "Get a roof, you Wrigley Field clowns." Yeah, I guess so. Get a roof. Never been to Wrigley Field. Been outside. Never been there. Let's see. Our friend Mr. V says, "Hey, Jeff, have you seen the Grace Randolph new video on KK? Having watched it, I'd love to see you on the High Council as a guest at some point." Yeah, I did watch that yesterday afternoon because I was like, oh, wait, Grace talked about the Kathleen Kennedy thing. It was a very interesting video. I think that's more important than douchebag from IGN or anybody from Screen Rant's take, because Scott is busy taking payoffs to give Call of Duty 10 out of 10s, and this game gets a 4 out of 10, not enough water. Well, fuck IGN, okay? Even if they didn't put this stupid tweet out, I'd say fuck website that I'm guilty of going to see what comes out. But I don't necessarily trust their editorials on games. I don't read any of their opinion pieces. I know what to avoid from IGN. IGN is good for when does a game come out and to read the comment section to see what's going on. But Grace Randolph's video, I thought was pretty good, and I doubt she'll ever come on the High Council. Everyone out there, 415 people could tweet her right now, "Hey, can you show up on the High Council tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time?" And we'll send her the link and, meat. We'll send her a nice box of Christmas meat. But I never said she had a job. So we could do something nice like that for her to get her on the show. But I doubt she would show up. But she's always welcome. I'm always welcome to come on the High Council, especially when it's here. Because, I've been watching her for quite a while. But with her video, she plays the best card in anyone's hand, because you have the defeatist side. Well, we've lost. I've given up on Star Wars. And I've seen that from a lot of people. People that I talk to on a daily basis from the channel, like, "I've given up on Star Wars. I'm done." I'm like, really? You take this as a piece of news to give up? Not like Rambo says, nothing is over. Okay? Nothing is over. We're fine. Let's just keep on moving forward, because all the same emotions and intentions you guys had was it's still there. It's still there. Let's not give up. And then the people on the other side that we've won completely. And then there's Grace Randolph, who says, "I think things are still the same." And she gives you a point-by-point breakdown of why she thinks things are the same. And I kind of like that, because to me that seems like the most level-headed approach to take. I can jokingly say it's the end of the world as we know it and all this other stuff, but I can also take a look at what she's saying and think there's a lot of validity to this, besides her credibility, which I don't think was ever at stake. I'm not saying I believe everything Grace Randolph says, blindly. I don't. But when you look at her, I don't think she can afford to make up fake news. There are a lot of people that talked about this Kathleen Kennedy's gone by the end of September thing, and then they had to come out and apologize. And to the anti-fandom menacers out there, they want to say, well, that takes away all the credibility. Well, I never banked on any of that stuff. But holds a lot of weight, still, And everyone just go check out her video. She can do it better than I can. Talk about it. The dislike is close to the likes on that video. Oh, is it? Let me check that out. Let's see what that is. Let's see. Grace. Wait. I typed in Grace, Rag, and Bone Man. Oops. Oh, wait. Yesterday I finally learned who Action Bronson was, and I did not like him at all. I saw his TV show called Fuck That's Delicious, and it was kind of dumb. Oh, not the Grace Randolph video. It must be something else. The other, because Grace Randolph's video has 5,331 thumbs up, 285 thumbs down. So that's not even close. That's not even close at all. Still haven't heard any high council videos. I'm still back at episode 1. Oh, Reality's Frank. That dude, you're still alive? Congratulations, man. I'm glad you're back. We need a social justice sucks movement. I think I could be the face of that because I'm not white. So what are they going to do? Throw the, you're just an angry white man. No, not really. Not really at all. No racial bias. I like everybody. If you suck, you suck. That's really what it comes down to. You can't hide behind it. Oh, you dislike this person because they're of this background. No, I just dislike them because I don't even dislike them. I dislike their ideas. Wait, they got rid of the Rocky statue? Fuck, I hate this world. I'm fed up with this world. I'm done. Let's see. Overwatch or Fortnite? Neither. I don't play video games right now. And if I do, it's probably Tetris or Super Mario Brothers 3 on the Switch, which I lost my left Joy-Con for. So I look like a hillbilly right now. If anybody calls me that $9, I will I'll just point them to your direction. Let's see. Oh, the Rocky statue is still up. Okay, well, that's what Kevin said. We got Alex Jones Jr. here, folks. Well, let's see. Today was kind of a slow day for Good Morning Pop Culture. I don't really think there's too much else to cover. So unless we got something new, I think I might close this out early. I'll wait for a minute, though. But yeah, Grace Randolph's video is doing well. The next step is I think the ball's more in our court than theirs. They have shown their move, and now we have to show ours. What is our move? Well, if you choose to boycott this film, and that's under your own power, and I cannot tell you what to boycott and what not to. If you choose to boycott this movie, I think you can do a lot of damage. If you choose to wait to see this movie, like even if you can wait 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even 4, like if you could wait to catch this movie on a Tuesday, a bargain Tuesday, a week later, 2 weeks later, I think you'll really scare them even more. Because you also have a lot of people that get tired of waiting and that don't have the time to go see it, so they just do other shit, you know? Maybe Star Wars becoming forgettable because it's always there. It's not a special event. When you make yourself too accessible all the time, people don't treat you the same way, don't respect you. So maybe that's going to be the case with Star Wars. It's always there. It, you know. Let's see, diversity in comics, assuming Mark Waid. I heard about that. I used to like Mark Waid, and then I realized what kind of a person he was, so I refused to buy any of his books. So good job, Mark. Not only are you going to get sued by Zach, I just refuse to buy your books on principle now. And let's hear the angry white man claims from you, Grandpa. Then we need to look at the Star Wars Explode video. Okay. I don't. Let's see. Star Wars Explode Man video. I made a mistake. So is it the one about Kathleen Kennedy? Because I can. I'll look at it. Oh, okay. Yeah. Here we go. This is the one. I'll show you guys that. see. Stop looking at some bullshit from Marvel and let's look at some bullshit from YouTube. Yoto. This has some interesting ups to dislike ratio. Ups to dislikes. That's not even a fucking word. All right, so his comment. So 3,066 thumbs down, 2,529 thumbs up. So let's see. Shill, she's still getting fined at the end of September. I trust my sources. I've gotten to the point I can't tell if people are being serious or not. I don't agree with you, but I respect you enough not to care. I think Star Wars has been great, and I'm really excited about Episode 9. Clone Wars returning and the new stuff don't matter. It's much news in charge. Angry people on the internet. So sad, but true. I'll get my head around it. My problem with Kathleen is that she lacks passion. Look at Kevin Feige. People have the right to enjoy The Last Jedi. I won't put the fans down. I didn't like it at all, and I honestly did nothing. It had nothing to do with Rose or Rey. I actually like Rey's character. The reason why I didn't like this film was the story just felt wasted. Snoke, Kylo Ren being Kylo Ren, the Knights of Ren. Finn's repetitive story felt like there was no connection to The Force Awakens. After all, Leia's weird space scene and how they handled Luke's story. It just felt like Rian Johnson was keeping an eye on fans were talking about on social media and Reddit boards, and then completely wild with the script, making sure everything opposite of what fans wanted or theorizing. Even though the script was supposedly done before all these theories came out, or even The Force Awakens for that matter. So I take it that Star Wars explains his attack in the Phantom Menace. Oh, he said men are afraid of women leading Star Wars. Yeah, okay. I don't like Star Wars explain shit. There's a reason I guess I've never watched it. This argument again. I mean, I guess there's a reason why, you know. Let's see. Look, yeah, I'm looking at it. When are we getting the movie schedule for this month? Ask Etep Wakuian. Well, if you're a patron, you get a whole thing about it today, and if we'll be posting it to social media today as well. So if you're out there and you want to join us for all of our Halloween fun and antics, well, don't worry. I'm going to make sure everyone has access, because as of right now, I'm looking at my October schedule. Today you get the list of Halloween films. And then Wednesday night, you get a very special live stream on Movie Curses. That'll be live Wednesday evening. Then you're going to get on the 8th, you get the Twilight Zone if you're a patron. Then on the 10th, you get the Twilight Zone live stream here on the channel. And if you're a patron, the 14th is your Patreon exclusive Twilight Zone hangout. So I have your contact information. We'll make sure everything's taken care of. And then on the 15th, you have Stephen King Roundtable. 17th, you have Tales from the Crypt Roundtable live stream. And then on the rest of the month. So just be on the lookout for that. I'm glad somebody's looking forward to the Halloween content, because oh my God, I'm excited for that. It's funny. It's like, oh man, October's looking great. I don't have to worry about much. And then I got to hear about Kathleen Kennedy, and I'm just like upset. I too would rather watch Showgirls. So you don't have to, worry about that. Mexi Man and Cheese, thank you very much for super chat. Marvel bubble will burst after Avengers 4. It's a natural stepping off point for people watching since Iron Man 1. Plus, with another 3 to 4 KK, Disney is set to have a rough year ahead. Can't say they don't deserve it. Or can't say it's not deserved. And nor can I. You can go back and listen to what we said. It does feel like this shit's going to be over after the next Avengers. We know that these actors aren't coming back. We know that their characters are going to be written out. Look, you can't have Robert Downey Jr. forever as Iron Man. I wish you could. I would go back and see Robert Downey Jr. play Iron Man every 2 to 3 years. I'd be excited for it. But that's not going to happen. Same with Chris Hemsworth. He's going to go off to do his Men in Black movie. He's going to go off to do all these other things. And Thor is going to die off. Maybe not like die, but we're not going to see Thor as much. These heroes got their trilogies. They got this. And now you got the B team coming up, and they're going to try to, instead of like letting the B team succeed or fail on their own merit, they're going to have to be like, ushered in by a studio saying, well, if you don't watch this movie, you're this, that, and the other. And we got to go through all this shit. And they're going to try the guilt trip. And to me, that makes your superhero a B-class character. Like if the Falcon were to step up and become a mainline Avenger after the next wave, I would buy that. Why? Because he was introduced and Winter Soldier. He was a great character. I really enjoyed him, and I loved his interaction with Bucky. I don't want Steve Rogers to die. I think of all the original, he's the one I think that I want to see, the one I want to live the most. I think he still has a lot to talk about. If Marvel was smart, they'd keep him around and maybe dabble in some politics in the movie and see where they can go with Captain America. But I don't need to see him die. I don't think that's a smart thing. You're going to get your small group of people online that say like, oh, Captain America needs to die or this or that. Kind of like that bullshit article of why Superman needs to be white. Or doesn't need to be white. And I'm like, what? You get these, I don't want to say anarchist people because they're not. That's not the right phrase. But you get these nihilistic asshole people that are just against so many classic things, and they just want to tear it apart. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. But I'm with you there, Mexi Man and Cheese. It is a natural stepping off point. And you know, it's funny. There are, I really wish we have a little more time. Fuck it. Press 1 if you want me to go a little longer, because there's actually a couple pieces of news that I want to cover right now. So let's see what somebody said. Look at the top comment for Stars Explained. Shill, she's going to get fired at the end of September. I trust my sources, says Battlefront Updates. I mean, that's probably a sarcasm, but hey. Oh, now you got me wanting to read these things. You guys came off as self-righteous in this video. I may not agree with your opinion, but it's to be respected, even if you yourselves do not show respect for those you disagree with. To be honest, I really dislike The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like Stars Explained doing what they're doing. I don't know. All I can tell you is that I'm not watching. I don't watch their content. And it's nothing to do with politics. It's just straight up, I don't care what they make. Really don't care what they make. Sil Creatori says Jaws is made. Oh, geez, really? I don't care. I don't like Jaws I don't like sharks. Fuck it. I'm just not a fan of sharks. So it won't be that great or even good. Where did my things go? My sources. Damn it. There they are. I sent myself over Facebook in a hidden way. So we talked about I mentioned Zack Snyder wanting to kill Batman. What do you want to hear about? You want to hear about the here we go. This will be fun. This should rile people up. That's what you guys need. It's fucking Monday. Monday is not a good day for everybody. Maybe it's good for some people. But let's talk about the King, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't mean Elvis, the king of rock. I don't mean Michael Jackson, the king of pop. I mean Kevin Smith, king of the shills. So this is an actual news story. This should be fun. Kevin Smith denies being paid by Marvel for positive reactions. Kevin Smith is not only known for creating a number of films and comic books, but equally well known for his positive, enthusiastic responses to films and television series. Now, Smith tells people that all the praise he has for films is his own. No one pays him for it. So in a recent episode of his podcast, Fat Man Beyond, Smith addressed these comments from fans, clearing that no one pays him for positive feedback. I'm just going to say this, Smith said. I thought it would go without saying. I thought I'd never have to say this, but I saw a tweet today because I retweeted the fucking Captain Marvel trailer and talked about how I dug this shit, like fucking talking every nickel I have Marvel and taking every nickel I have and Marvel, and there was like a couple of people, like, I hate trying to read these quotes because they don't make sense. There were a couple of people, like, most people, you're fucking right. Fucking Kev, well said, leads to another promised land. You know, everyone on the same page. But there was a very small percentage of about 5 tweets. Really? You're bitching about 5 tweets? You're as bad as the milkshake girls, Kevin Smith. About 5 tweets going on about how much they're paying you to say this bullshit, man. Are you shilling for Marvel? And I just want to fucking record saying you're crazy if you think Marvel has to pay anybody to say something nice about them or to hit people to the movies that are coming up, particularly to an audience that's pre-sold. Kevin Smith, no one ever really accused you of shilling for Marvel, but you're not really that clean when it comes to DC. That's the funniest thing. You know, you constantly see studios bat dong, and then you just magically get to host all the DC shit, and you just magically get to direct episodes of The Flash and Arrow. I mean, I know it's a low bar to direct a DC TV show because I can look at the company that they're in now with Titans, even though that's an exclusive thing to the DC Universe streaming service. But I mean, it's funny how the shit gets back to him and really bothers him. 5 tweets. Kevin, dude, you're an actual celebrity. You know, get a backbone and stop focusing on what's said about you on Twitter. Believe me, if everyone out there that had a platform worried about 5 tweets that you got, everyone will just roll up into a ball and quit. Don't worry about those tweets, man. You got bigger fish to fry. You got to make sense of Tusk and Yoga Hosers and where else you're going to go. I mean, people have given you money to make Clerks 3, but you're not going to make it. So you lied to the audience. Well, you guys should really like Yoga Hosers and Tusk because it's helping fund Clerks 3. There's no Clerks 3. There's no Mallrats 2. Remember all the scripts you told us you had? They don't fucking exist. You lied to us, okay? You lied to us. It wasn't on Dantooine. It was not existent. You lied to everybody, Kevin Smith. So instead of getting all huffy about being called a shill on the internet, because you are a self-admitted whore, Kevin. No one has ever denied that, you included. I don't know if Marvel pays you. I don't think you are. I think you just want to be the guy that's the goodwill ambassador to comic book movies. You're that last bastion of 90s fun. You're really hoping that you can stay relevant enough for when that 90s enthusiasm comes back with Captain Marvel next year, that you're like, hey guys, remember the 90s? They were so cool. Nirvana and Pearl Jam and all these other great bands from the 90s. Blind Melon. Oh yeah, and you remember that movie Clerks I did when I was young and hip and had my finger on the pulse? Well, like you said, Kevin, this is the pulse, and this is your finger. Far from a pulse jammed straight up your ass. So no, we don't want a chocolate-covered pretzel, Kevin, but what we want is for you to just calm down, man, and take a chill pill. People are saying it sounds like his conscience is bothering him. Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe he feels guilty. You know, Kevin Smith was the first guy. I used to listen to Fat Man on Batman. I thought it was a great podcast, and I'm not going to change my opinion on it now. Okay, I'm not going to change my opinion on how I felt about it back then based on the shit now, because Fat Man on Batman used to be the best Batman podcast. He would get Neil Adams, Jim Lee, Joe Quesada, all these great people in the comic book industry, and I will never, ever change the way I felt about it back then. But then it became a 2-man show with Mark Bernardin, and it was a video series on YouTube, and it changed from what it was, and I just don't care. I mean, Kevin Smith used to do commentaries for Batman, Batman Returns, all these movies, and have people come in and talk about stuff, and it was really, really awesome. I mean, that was one of the reasons why I got inspired to do this show, or the podcast initially too, because I would listen to so many podcasts when I would do art. And I'm like, man, I'm engaged. I want to engage other people and talk about this stuff. And it took some time, and now we're there, and I'm really happy. But I'm not going to change my stance back then. But nowadays, Kevin Smith's podcast is a big advertisement. It's basically a news show. It's not a podcast. Now, I've never heard Fat Man Beyond. He could have gone back to the old format. But because of what Fat Man and on Batman changed, you know, I don't listen to it anymore. Yeah, people are out there. Yeah, Batman on Batman was awesome when it was different. Let's see. I listen to his podcast sometimes. It's annoying now. I'm going to be critical of anything, really. Yeah, I made sure I didn't listen to his review of The Force Awakens because I knew he was just going to kiss that movie's ass. And then I did see his top 5 movies of the year, and I was right. It was like number 1 or number 2. Kevin Smith, if anything, is predictable. You know, like the Green Goblin says, you're pathetically predictable. You know, the guy was all piss and vinegar when he was young and trying to be different and an artist. And now he's just old and trying to do, you know, to remain relevant. But the reason I brought up the podcast is he was on the Ben Affleck train. He was like, Ben Affleck, Batman v Superman is going to be a $2 billion picture. Mark my words, this, that, and the other. And he got all excited and he hyped up the movie. And then he's like, well, and then the next week, people had bitched about, oh, Ben Affleck's friend. He's not my fucking friend. We barely talking to him. Blah, 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 blah. And he got real defensive that people kind of were calling him out for shilling for the movie, preemptively. I know Kevin Smith wishes it was 99, early 2000s, but when he killed off the View Askew universe, he killed off a big chunk of his fan base. Now, he was smart with going on his spoken word tours. He was smart by going out there and creating the podcast network. Kevin Smith did have his finger on the pulse of a lot of early, technological advances that he adapted to and became a big voice in the podcasting world, in the internet, on this and that. But at the same time, he has now become dated. And it's kind of funny. Proof of Sheldon being hyped about Captain Marvel. I can't say that far because that would be disingenuous. But if you look at all the shit he's done in the past, I don't necessarily think my first video was, out of, it was in bad taste. I stand by that video. He can't play Silent Bob anymore. He's too skinny. Well, he can always wear a trench coat. Let's see. He did a great sit down with Mark Hamill early on, gave up when the movie reviews seemed to get too shilled. Yeah, I just don't watch anything the man does. Sorry, Kevin Smith. Even Jay and Silent Bob, what's the new one? Get rebooted. I don't know, man. Zack and Miri Make a Porno was the last thing he did that I was really into it. Kevin Smith's review for The Last Jedi was a total shill show. I think he was just genuinely upset by the tweets, and that's why he responded. Well, you know what, Kevin? You got to deal with it, man. Even The Rock gets shitty tweets. Okay? So, and The Rock's like the happiest dude in Hollywood and a real star. So if he can handle it, I just don't know why people can't. I mean, was Kevin Smith looking for attention? Is that why they wanted to make a news story out of nothing? Is it a light week? I mean, Animated Times, can't you guys talk about the DC Universe streaming service and how they promised you all this great shit and it's kind of a disappointment? Oh, no, you can't, because you don't want to bite the hand that feeds. Congratulations to Kevin Smith for losing all the weight. It's a journey. I respect that. But at the same time, dude, just stop, man. You're embarrassing yourself. Do I think Kevin Smith would have made a better Batman v Superman than Snyder? No. I don't. Because there would have been the obligatory shot of Jason Mewes looking up going, oh shit, it's Batman, or something stupid. It's not the 90s anymore. Kevin Smith can't direct big pictures. And the thing is, I'm the guy that owns all of his fucking movies on DVD, and I went to his show, own his books, all that stuff. I don't just dislike Kevin Smith to dislike him. If anything, I was a big fan a long time ago. Man, Clerks 2 was my big movie in high school. I remember seeing that. It would have been my summer of my junior year going into senior year, and I was pumped. I told everybody about that. I got the DVD at Christmas. I was telling dudes, like, you got to borrow this DVD if your parents won't buy you a copy or you can't get a copy yourself. I was loaning out Clerks 2 to everybody. I'm like, you got to see this movie. And then people were really getting involved and invested, man. Like, there was a little Kevin Smith movement at school in 2006, 2007 because of that movie and how great I thought it was at one point. And then I got to college and I saw Zack and Miri and I liked that too. And then, it just kind of stopped being funny. Kevin Smith from 02 to 06 is forgettable. Well, he was in Daredevil for a minute. That's good. Well, he made Jersey Girl. That's not that good. Well, he was in that movie with Jennifer Garner. Who cares? I mean, who cares? Now, I'm not arguing that Kevin Smith isn't a nice guy in person. I know people are out there saying, he was nice when I met him. I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's not a bad dude. And I think he's genuine, too. Unlike, I don't know, like a Ryan Johnson. If you met him in person at a public event, I think he would smile and shake your hand because it's good PR. But he wouldn't care. He would just smile and shake your hand, look good in the photo, and then walk on away. Kevin Smith would probably shake your hand and smile for the photo. But then if you asked him a couple of questions, he'd answer them and, care. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but like I said, I don't trust his reviews on anything. There are just some people out there that are the talk. And the funny thing is, Kevin has become the thing he hates. Like, I know Kevin Smith goes on and on and on about The Dark Knight Returns, his favorite Batman story. It's in Clerks. I actually got a like from Kevin Smith on Twitter once because I was like, is that The Dark Knight Returns that Randall's reading in Clerks? I got a like. I took a screenshot years ago. But if you've never read The Dark Knight Returns, there's a series of talking heads that are used to push the narrative of the comic book forward. Kevin Smith has become that talking head, just a talking head, shallow, vapid, just good for a news soundbite, and there's no depth to what he says anymore. And I find that ironic that he becomes one of the more criticized or lampooned parts of his favorite comic book. Was it his message or his intention all along? I doubt it. But at the same time, it's poetic. It's like poetry. They rhyme. George Lucas reference. Zornt00, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I think if anyone continues to pay for the new Star Wars movies after how Disney has treated the fans as being dumb, even if they're doing it to review the film, well, I guess you have to call us dumb, Zornt00, but I appreciate the message. No, like I tell everyone else, you got to do what you want. I think a large group of people who can think for themselves is far more detrimental than a group of lemmings that'll just follow the message. Because all of you out there, about 400 people listening, about 75,000 people subscribed, you guys got into the real world, and we can show you like, hey, this is shilling, or this or that, or this might be that. And you think about it, and at least opens your eyes, helps you put on the sunglasses from They Live, which is one of the most important films ever made that you probably haven't seen. And if you have seen it, watch it again. It's really, really relevant in today's world. And I got a commentary that was for Patreon, but I'm going to throw it out on YouTube as well because it's so important. You guys really do need to pay attention to the message out there for They Live. With They Live, and this channel in general, we just ability to see with your own eyes. Because if you're a blind lemming, you'll just follow the next thing, and you'll fall off that. Well, they've gone to show that lemmings really don't leap to their own death. That was kind of a Disney movie thing they made. But my point is, you'll just fall in line with whatever the next popular belief is or the next thought. And if you can think for yourself, well, then no one can control you, and then you can, hit them where it hurts even more. Zorn00, again, thank you very much. Side note, I'm only going to see Captain Marvel because of Sam L. and the goodwill the other films have garnered with me. I still have some hope for it. I see where you're coming from. Again, Zorn00, I'm proving my point. You're proving my point too. All I want is for people to think for themselves. If you have your own reasons, you don't even need to explain to me why you go see these movies. I like to hear why because we can have a dialogue, but it is your buying power, your free will to do with your money the way you want to do it. And you explain. You like Samuel L. Jackson, you have the goodwill of the other Marvel movies. I don't have a problem with female-led Marvel movies. It's fine, whatever. It's inevitable. Cool. But what I do have a problem with is the way it's going to be marketed. And that's why when I saw Infinity War's post-credit sequence and I saw the Captain Marvel thing, I didn't applaud. I just went, oh, God, here we go. Now, if they didn't do any of this, and this movie was marketed like, what's the movie that wasn't? Well, Black Panther did it. Wonder Woman did it. But Wonder Woman wasn't done by the studio. I'm trying to think. If it was just marketed like any other Avengers movie that didn't have, the political posturing behind it, I'd be like, cool, man. And I was wrong in 2017 or 2018, and I liked this movie. And it was awesome. If I can get at least a Black Panther level of excitement from this film, I consider it a victory. And I consider Black Panther not a lesser Marvel movie, but on like a mid-level tier. It's better than Thor 2, but it's not better than Iron Man 1 or, so many of the other ones. But that's an interesting point. The goodwill is important. There we go. But jumping back to Star Wars, though, a lack of goodwill is also very important, too, because we talked about those apathetic people that just didn't care. Well, they hated the last one, and they thought it wasn't that good. They're not going to go rush out to see the next one. Let's see. A lot of people won't watch Captain Marvel. They want to boycott it. Again, guys, you do what you got to do. You have all of the power. The power is yours. I'll just be Captain Planet. Think about that. They Live, Idiocracy, and 1984 are all relevant these days. They are. They Live more so. Idiocracy too. But I think Idiocracy is too funny for some people to actually pay attention to some of the deeper meaning. And I hate to admit it, but 1984 may be too dull for some people. That's just the reality we live in. So I think They Live is the perfect representation. One, you have Keith David, who's a fantastic actor and has a great voice. Two, you got Roddy Piper, who may be the best wrestler turned actor strictly based on this performance. I know Rock has more hits, and I like The Rock better as a wrestler and everything else. But They Live is such an important movie, and Piper does such a good job as John Nada. And 3, it's more, it has aliens and stuff, and it's a little more out there, so it can draw your eye in, but at the same time, it's barely beneath the surface. You get a lot more depth to it. I love the movie. I probably watch it, I don't know, 4 or 5 times a year. To me, it's that good of a film. But all the films have some important messages to say. Yeah. I keep cutting out and roboting. I can't help that. My mic is fine. It must be the internet connection in this neighborhood. So I apologize if it's just some odd audio this morning. All I can tell you guys is to catch it up on Podbean later on, because it'll be there. I'm recording it as we speak, and there's no beep booping on that end. Let's see. Here's an interesting point. Some people can't face that sometimes a highly rated movie on Rotten Tomatoes is not that great. You know what? I'm going to play that game right now. I'm going to show you the highest rated films on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm going to give you my opinion on if I think they're that great or not. That'll be a fun way to close out this show, because we've gone over. I was going to close the show out early because it wasn't really going anywhere. Now I'm really excited, and it's funny how life goes. Sometimes at the moment where you think all is lost, boom, there you go. Highest Rotten Tomatoes. Okay. The top 100 movies of all time according to Rotten Tomatoes. This could be fun. Now, this is strictly my opinion of this. Now, this is, you guys, obviously, I want you to chime in with yours, because this is always a dialogue here on Good Morning Pop Culture. That's why there's no guest. It's our show. It's time. When I can get the logistics worked out, it'll be a call-in show, too. So let's look at these. We're not going to do every movie, but let's see. The Wizard of Oz, number 1, 98% with 111 reviews. I do think Wizard of Oz is a fantastic movie, so I like that quite a bit. Best of all time, maybe to some. It is truly magical and an achievement in terms of filmmaking. Citizen Kane, I've never seen it. I've heard it's the greatest of all time, but this is one of those movies where I'm really not too hesitant to watch it, because the people that tell me it's the greatest of all time are people I don't really like their take on movies, or just them as a person. Get Out. Fuck! I disagree. Sorry, that was loud. Mad Max Fury Road. Again, a really good movie, but 4th of all time? No. The Third Man. Never seen it. Moonlight. Never seen it. Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Never seen it. Inside Out. I doubt it. All About Eve? Nope. Wonder Woman is the 10th best film according to Rotten Tomatoes. I know these are based on scores, but then again, that's what the person said. Because it has a good score on Rotten Tomatoes doesn't make it great. Disagree. It's a very good movie, but if I'm going to rank it out of every movie ever made, it wouldn't even crack top 50 for me. Maybe even top 100. Even though it doesn't have a high score, I'd rather watch Wayne's World than I'd rather watch Wonder Woman. E.T., never seen it all the way. Metropolis. Here we go. Let's see some things. God, I have so many of these movies I haven't seen. Psycho, there we go. Psycho is a fantastic movie. That could be in the top 20 greatest movies of all time, in my opinion. Laura, never heard of it. Hard Days, the Beatles movie? Boyhood. Because reasons. Maltese Falcon, another fantastic flick. Logan, number 27, greatest of all time according to Rotten Tomatoes. I wouldn't put that high up. King Kong, definitely up there. Arrival, overrated. Again, these are my opinion. Number 32, Star Wars The Force Awakens. Garbage choice. Argo, pretty fun movie. 12 Years a Slave. Wouldn't watch it. Hitchcock film. Rear Window, another great Hitchcock film. Gravity, overrated. Hated that movie. Toy Story 3, I don't like it as much as the other two. Alien, good. Baby Driver is the 44th greatest film on Rotten Tomatoes based on score. I love it, but it's not that high up in terms of great movies. We'll just do the top 50 and get the fuck out of here, because this list is dumb. Toy Story 2, good movie. Never seen Philadelphia Story. Never seen Bicycle Thieves. Selma, don't need to watch it. Zootopia, don't need to watch it. Taxi Driver, need to watch it. Sounds awesome. Seven Samurai, I need to see it for the Star Wars connection. La La Land, hated that movie. Touch of Evil, never heard of it. All Quiet on the Western Front, I'm past number 50. So where is the original Star Wars at on here? Where Spider-Man Homecoming is better than The Dark Knight? Oh, this list is garbage. Frankenstein? Oh, because it only has 46 score. Oh, I mean, I get the way it's reviewed. I just disagree wholeheartedly with this list. I think this goes to prove the fact what our friend was saying earlier. You know, just because it's not highly, or just because it's highly rated on Rotten Tomatoes does not make it good. And I agree, because It Follows, the fucking STD horror movie, is better than Captain America: Civil War and Jaws. You guys know I'm afraid of sharks. Jaws is a great movie compared to It Follows. Creed is above any Rocky flick. This is a bullshit list, and Rotten Tomatoes is a bullshit aggregator. I'm fed up. I'm fed up with all this shit. So that's it. Roots was a great movie, Jeff. Roots was a TV series. It was an event. I think Citizen Kane is just something called great because everyone says it is. Zorn 00, that's how I feel about it. And that's how I feel about a lot of this shit. Just because we're told it's great, we're supposed to, buy into the hype. At least with a channel like this, you get to know me, or at least a good image of me. And I don't mean like what I can represent as a positive, but you get a good representation of who I am, what I like, what I watch, what I dislike. It's pretty easy to figure out the shit I'm into and are into similar things. We're on the same wavelength, and that's awesome. So, that when you hear me review a movie, you at least know where I'm coming from. A lot of these things, I feel like the critics want to keep up with the keeping up with the Joneses or whatever. It's right. I almost said keeping up with the Kardashians. Nobody wants to keep up with them. But you don't want to sound like a critic. You need to sound intelligent to your other fellow critics. Oh, I thought it was rather, it was passe to enjoy this movie and this and that and the other. And there are just so many people out there that do that stuff to remain relevant. And in today's modern world, that's why they dislike YouTube. That's why they dislike fan reviews, because I can't be bought and paid for a movie review. There's nothing that I've reviewed that I've ever been worried about offending. A lot of people got pissy when I didn't praise Black Panther at every level. I give it the same level of viewing criteria in terms of review that I do every other Marvel movie. Now, admittedly, when I talk about my favorite movies, I don't have a single superhero movie on there because I rate them lower. Like, I give them, they're in a different category. The fact that a Star Wars movie is on that list, for me at least, in terms of my favorite movies of all time, goes to show you how important I think that movie is. But a superhero movie, I give a pass on certain things. Is it a good adaptation? Does the hero look right? Is the world right? Certain things. And, I don't know. That's just who I am. Casino? Is that on this list? Because Casino kicks ass. I love that movie. Where's Dawn of the Dead 78? Heat is in my top 5 along with Lebowski. Bro, Apollo Creed, The Big Lebowski, maybe my number 5 movie. Number 4, the first 4 are locked in. Back to the Future, Star Wars, Die Hard are my 4 favorite movies. Number 5 might be The Big Lebowski. It may be Hot Fuzz. There's so many great movies. It may be Wayne's World. It's a maybe list. It may be somewhere. Where's the stuff? Not on anyone's favorite list. I love Garrett Morris, but man, the stuff is I don't know. It's schlocky at best. Some people say Killmonger is better than Thanos. Well, those people are wrong. For 2 points. First off, this colonizer bullshit ended. It's over, okay? Let's not try to divide people based on race. Let's just all get along. It's real easy. I don't look at people and say, oh, you're a black guy. I don't look at Dion and say, you're my best black friend. I say, you're my best friend. Same with Nick. You're not my favorite Samoan. You're just my friend. It's not, it's really not hard to look past people's skin color as one of their parts of their identity. Your interests, your beliefs in certain things, not even religious beliefs, just your interest and your beliefs in life and stuff, to me are more of an indicator of who you are as a person, not the color of your skin or who you go to bed with. Thanos achieved his goal. Killmonger failed and died. Now, you would say, well, Black Panther was kind of more open after the end of the film. But I think that was more the pressuring of his sister, not necessarily Killmonger getting through to him in his death throes. And Michael B. Jordan is a fine actor based on his appearance in that film. I still don't like him that much. Everything be Jordan. Hashtag everything be Jordan. But Thanos kicked ass. Thanos was the best villain since Darth Vader, maybe. And I'm being honest. I'm trying to think. Darth Vader, maybe the greatest film villain of all time. Him and Nurse Ratched from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Because Vader was an intergalactic badass who could just, kill you with his mind, pinch of his finger would choke you, all this stuff. And he wins in The Empire Strikes Back. But Nurse Ratched is believable and messed up, and that shit kind of happens in real life. And One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is a great movie. I don't know if that was on this list I scrolled through, but that movie's fantastic and has a lot to say about life and psychiatric care and all that kind of stuff, and fun, and who's damaged, who's really crazy, Big Chief Bromden, all that stuff. That movie is really deep. But Nurse Ratched is just an evil person in that movie, and her and Darth Vader, along with maybe Thanos. I'm trying to think. Hans Gruber is great too. Hans Gruber's up there from villains. Not a what's his name though? Dolph Lundgren's character, Ivan Drago. He's just okay, but Thanos was great, man. For superhero villains, he may be the best. Him, Nicholson's Joker, Doc Ock. There's just so many really great choices. But Thanos, his effectiveness, and the fact that you can understand why he's doing what he's doing, even if you disagree with the ends, the means to justify the ends, you at least can see where he's coming from. That to me is a great character. Whereas Back to the Future is too good for this list. It has 1,000 reviews, all 100%, and it's the best movie ever. Makes us differently, gets eaten by social justice. Swinging Cod, thank you very much for your super chat. Swinging Cod says, most do overrate Citizen Kane, but it was revolutionary, especially with camera techniques. Though Wells' best acting was in The Third Man. Watch them both. I do need to watch them both. I know sometimes I get a little angry about Citizen Kane or this and that and the other. Maybe it's the repetitive nature of the way people are beating it down my throat, much like The Dark Knight. I do like and respect The Dark Knight, but it was honestly some of the other people that just turned me off to the movie, how they overanalyzed. Like, I took a comic book course in college, and I got an A. I wrote these great papers on superheroes and stuff like that, but the teacher didn't like, I said Dark Knight was overrated. This was in 2009? Yeah, 2009, 2000. That would have been 9. Yeah, my sophomore year. Great year. This year actually topped it for the first time ever. My point is, I think a lot of the people turned me off. I thought it was overrated. But I will give Citizen Kane and The Third Man a chance. I do like old movies. I don't watch a movie that's in black and white and go, I can't enjoy this. It's not in color. Dude, I rented The Maltese Falcon in college. I was blown away. I was like, I need more movies like this. And then I would go rent movies each week and get Five Guys. Across the street from my dorm was a Blockbuster and a Five Guys and a Jimmy John's. So I'd walk over, get my movie, get my food, come back, eat, and watch the movie. And when I got Maltese Falcon, I was like, man, Humphrey Bogart's the shit. I need to see more of these movies. Where's The Room? You guys really love The Room, don't you? We can do a Room live watch really soon. Believe me, it's the fantastic movie ever. Or it's one of the most fantastic movies ever made. I love it. Brad Noble, thank you very much for your super chat. If the Brewers win, we're going to Sizzler on Dion. You know what? I will say my best friend has to pay for all 366 viewers to go to Sizzler. We get a steak and a buffet. I've never been to Sizzler. I don't even think they're around anymore. But yeah, Dion will buy. And the next Sunday, I'm taking everybody to Chick-fil-A. So if you guys want some free Chick-fil-A, make sure you come out and hang out with me. I'll buy it. Let's see. Brad Noble also says, if the Brewers win, we're going to Sizzler on Dion again. Brad Noble, you damn right. We're doing it double. Dion's buying us lunch and dinner. Sorry, Dion. That means you got, oh, God, a lot of people to buy this for. I'd rather go to Skyline and White Castle than Sizzler. Oh, my God. I don't know, man. Skyline's overrated. I've been there so many times. If you hate Darth Vader, then you're racist. Or the Rebel Alliance racist for fighting Vader because he was black? Maybe? Question mark. Maybe? I don't know, man. You guys got to make up your choices with that. It's very possible that the Rebel Alliance hated Vader because of the color of his well, to be fair, he was a black-skinned man. I mean, he was burnt by a volcano, so I guess I could see where you would make those claims of racism. It is funny, the older you get, the more you realize the Rebel Alliance was an insurgent group, and they were... But look at the way it was framed. And all was well in the galaxy until Disney and J.J. Abrams came in and retold the same story, but worse. There are sizzlers on the West Coast. Well, I'm in the Midwest, the heartland of America. Hell, my state is shaped like a heart, kinda, sorta. Valentine's Day heart. Let's see. Check out the movie Treasure of the Sierra Madre, great Bogart movie. I will. I believe that was some of the influence for... Oh, I'll tell you a funny story. So we're because we'll talk about comics as we close out the show. So I'm gonna... Let's see where Stealing Solo is, because I told you guys about some past comic book work I've done, and I'll tell you about an old story I wish I had the artwork for. So, damn. Wow. Okay, we passed 33,000. So thank you to everybody, by the way. Right now, my goal with Stealing Solo is to get 1,000 copies pre-ordered, and we're right now at 819 backers. So another 181, and I think I'll have reached a personal achievement. But no, you brought up the Treasures of the Sierra Madre, one of the earliest comics I got paid for back in 2013, my first paid gig. The guy's like, I need you to make this old man character look like he comes from that movie. And I did, and that was it's just a funny way to tie. It was called like The Day the Cat Got Shot, and it never went anywhere. Like a lot, that's the saddest part about a lot of these things. You know, I'm so bright-eyed and idealistic. I'm ready to draw anything, and you know, $50 is awesome, and I'll draw it. And I get paid, and I do the work, and then I'm like, when's it going to see print? And it never saw print. Same thing with the other comic that I did 2 full issues for. They were what, 28 pages each or something like that. I was so bright-eyed and idealistic and ready to draw anything, and I did. I did all of it, and I got paid this money. But then they ran into financing issues for the ability to print the book. So then I kind of gave up, focused on this, built this, and now you know, the universe has called me back to comics. So that long detour is just to tell everybody thank you for letting the first thing that I'm going to draw go to print happen. I appreciate that. It's really, really exciting. And, you know, SJ Social Justice and all kinds of other comics are going to be coming down the road. I just, you know, this is the big success for me. And then the next one will get bigger and bigger, and we'll keep on going. And, you know, we can just have a lot of fun as a community reading and consuming these comics to show everybody, hey, Comicsgate was about fun. It was about giving the fans what they want. And when you respect your audience and help them forget about life, and you don't try to bring them down with your entertainment, in quotations, you have great success. So thank you, everybody. I'm glad that nobody took the $5,000 offer in a joking manner. Actually, it would have been fine. I would have gone wherever they, you know, requested. But at the same time, I'm thinking, oh man, what if Buffalo Bill, in quotations, tries to get me to go to the house? That's why I told Kendo, wherever I go, I'm bringing you with me, man. I need backup. So yeah, I just wanted to tell everybody thank you to you know, it's a nice thing to talk about. It's not about you know, hey, look at me, look what I did. No, it's just a thank you. I really mean that. And for a lot of the people that joined at the $200 level, you get like a personal letter and all kinds of stuff. So thank you. Let's see. Is Soylent Green on there? I do love the movie Soylent Green. Peter Sellers is the best actor. You would have never have guessed that, would you have? Let's see. Let's see. What if Doomcock did? Off to the center of the earth with you. I guess you're not talking to me. Doomcock and I are cool. Remember, he said when he takes over the and I get a, and I'm going to ask for Northern Kentucky because it's all one big area. I want to be able to go to my favorite movie theater. See, when Doomcock rules the planet, and he gives me this quadrant, maybe he gives me the whole Midwest, just slightly into the Mason-Dixon line with Kentucky, because, like I said, when you live here, Kentucky's like your backyard. It'll be a fun place. So let's hope Doomcock does take control of the known universe. I will be a benevolent ruler, but Good Morning Pop Culture will be required listening in all the schools. after your normal, schedule. You go to recess, you hang out, you listen to the show. It'll be funny. Oh God. Let's see. Stealing Solo starring Phil's Foot. Oh my God. Maybe we could do something with Phil's Foot. Who killed originally, guys? I know a lot of people like to talk about the old stuff with the channel. First off, Anthony Mata, thank you very much. Just supporting the channel with my super chat. Well, Anthony Mata, thank you very much. You do this quite frequently, and I appreciate it. Appreciate you. It's a good feeling to do this, and everybody's like excited and jazzed. And like I want to reiterate this point because a lot of people thought Friday was the end of the fandom menace. No, it was not. If anything, Star Wars is what brought us together. But our love of entertainment and a cool community to talk is what keeps us rolling. We talk about comics, movies, games, sometimes the politics of entertainment and stuff like that. We keep it rolling beyond Star Wars, and we always will. That's why when Disney Star Wars goes out to pasture and we give it a Vader-like funeral sequence with a pyre and we cry and Force theme plays and all that fun stuff, we'll still be here because this community is too powerful to just stop after Star Wars. This isn't, a Star Wars channel that we have banked our name on, It's an ironically named channel, World Class Bullshitters, but more than not, you don't get bullshit. You get some really interesting takes on, entertainment. But thank you again, Anthony Mata. Thank you to everybody. I really appreciate all of you out there. Nicholas Glenn says, any idea when you'll be on DC channel? You mean diversity in comics? Or who's DC? Oh, Doomcock's channel. Whenever Doomcock invites me, I have a lot of stuff planned for Halloween, but if Doomcock wants to give me advance on a time, I will see. I can move certain things around or just, appear on Doomcock channel for a little bit and then do my stuff slightly later. The only thing that has a timetable locked in is the Halloween live stream, which I'll be announcing today on the channel because we have specific times and movie orders so you guys can get the movies and you can, say, we're watching Halloween at one point in the day. Let's say you don't like half the other movies, but you want to watch Halloween, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and something else. Well, we'll tell you when these movies are going to air not air, but when we're going to be watching them, we're going to be live streaming, and you guys can get involved in the conversation. There's so much that's going to be going on this month. Seriously, hit that bell notification so you guys can know that we're going to be live all the time because you don't want to miss out on any of this stuff because Halloween may not be your favorite holiday, but it's one of the best times of the year. Great food. By the way, I think I realized what was going on this morning with me when I seemed a little tired, a little dejected. Normally, I drink a dark roast Starbucks coffee, but for some reason, I drank a pumpkin spice cafe latte because my mom bought me this box of K-Cups that come with a special flavor powder. I thought, oh, Mom, and she had it laid out on my desk because my mom's the best lady in the world. Everybody loves their mom, but my mom is so awesome, and she's a big component of this channel that you just don't realize. But I get into my office this morning, and what's on my desk? 3 boxes of K-Cups. One, a hazelnut cream from Panera. The other, a Keurig Cafe Escapes Cafe Mocha, and a pumpkin spice from my good old mom. And I was like, Mom, you're the best. I'm going to drink this right now. And I did. And I think there was a little bit of soy in my coffee this morning because I just wasn't feeling it. Let me look at the ingredients real quick. Is there soy in this? No. But it contains milk. And I'm not lactose intolerant, but I don't know. Now that I'm back to the dark roast, I'm really happy to be here. But Nicholas Glenn, that is my answer. Whenever Doomcock has an opening, Doomcock is a good dude. I know you guys like the Doomcock character. I do too, but the real dude behind it is a good, genuine guy, and I will do what I can to help him achieve higher levels of success because he's got a really great take on entertainment, and he's fun, and he's just a consummate entertainer. The dude, I don't have a bad thing to say about him. He's so fun to be around. Like, a lot of times when he's on these streams with me, I don't say much because I'm enjoying it as much as you guys are. Yeah, I could talk, but why do I want to cut off Doomcock mid-sentence? Because he's awesome. Love the dude to death. Want him back on all the time. Have I heard of Bat in the Sun? Yes, I have heard of Bat in the Sun. I loved their fan films. I used to be really into the fan film community, not making them, obviously, but I used to watch them a lot and come up with concepts for what I'd like to see. But I just stopped watching them because I don't think they make them as much anymore. I'm not angry or dissatisfied with the content of their work. I just don't now. Do they still do the fight ones? Because I used to watch those a lot too. I just don't anymore. Thank you, Darth Durkle the Wise Ass. He says, everyone, please make sure to hit the like button. These videos need to have more likes. I would appreciate, guys, if you do hit the like button, because the way you guys can help us, if I don't know everyone's finances. I don't expect everything, but a like is free and it takes 1 second, and then it lets YouTube know that the content from this channel is liked, and then it puts us up higher on the list of things that'll be recommended so people can see. So if you really want the voice of world-class bullshitters, or all of our voices to be heard, help us get that like, help us get higher up on the list. Like we once were trending. I'd like to see that a lot more. Let's see who else we got. The adventure continues. Yeah, we got all kinds of all hell Doomcock. I came, I saw, I mushed the like button. Thank you, Barbarella Alpha. Thank you. Nathaniel Rook says Friday only made us stronger. It did. I was really excited for tomorrow night. Like the High Council is going to be off the chain. You guys do not understand. Jeremy, Ethan, and I have been talking behind the scenes, and we're so pumped. Ethan's the most excited. And when Ethan's excited, look out, because now nobody can top that shit. I'm just putting it out there. No one can top that shit. Let's see. Bro, Paulo Creed has. First off, yes, Brad, we all are seasoned vets of the Disney bullshit now. If anything, I've just opened your eyes to let you know about, what they're pulling on you. Now, this is interesting. Bro, Paulo Creed says, did you see that Victor Miller prevailed in the lawsuit with Cunningham and Horror Incorporated over the rights to Friday the 13th? I did, and I was pulling for Victor Miller the whole time. If you're the creator of something, I don't think you should get shafted by somebody that has more money. I just firmly believe in that. If you come up with a concept, if you work on something, you're as you deserve as much as somebody else. Not like Lucas wrote Star Wars and did all this shit, so he gets whatever. And don't forget Gary Kurtz's contributions. I think Gary Kurtz should have been up there with Lucas making that big money. But Lucas did write it. Lucas did more, I guess, in all the eyes of the law. Now, Victor Miller, if you don't know who he is, he wrote the first one, and I believe he stepped away. But he won the lawsuit, so good for him. I'm interested to see where Friday the 13th goes. With Victor Miller eventually winning and getting either back pay or owning rights or something, will we see a renaissance in slasher flicks? I think Halloween will be a good indicator. If Halloween makes some serious bank, and I'm hoping it does, listen to me, hoping a movie does well. Believe me, there's a cynical side to me, but there's a side, a virtuous, altruistic side that wants to see stuff work. I really think somebody like a John Carpenter, I know John Carpenter's not directing the new Halloween flick, but he created the original one. He kind of got shafted financially. Yeah, he's doing okay. He's got $30 million. He's not hurting for money. But I really think that Halloween, this new one, succeeding, will, make his legacy, it will cement his legacy even greater, because they've pushed aside everything Halloween that wasn't created by him. And now it comes back to his Halloween and this new one. And if this new one's as great as I'm hoping it will be, and if it sucks, I'll tell you guys. But if it's as great as I hope it is, and it blows the roof off the box office, then I think it'll just validate John Carpenter's Halloween as one of the greatest, if not the greatest horror movie of all time, therefore making John Carpenter one of the greatest directors of all time. It's funny, here on the channel we talk about Richard Donner as our patron saint, but whatever the next one would be, it would be John Carpenter. And then like for writers, it would be Stephen King. And it's not about a horror thing. It's just about a percentage of quality work. I love John Carpenter, horror, sci-fi, action. It just depends on what he's doing. But overall, I think he just has a great voice in entertainment. Stephen King, next week, guys, actually in 2 weeks on Patreon, when you get the Stephen King Roundtable, it's long. And we talk about how great Stephen King's work is and why it's so great. It's because it has such a variety of content to his like overall bibliography. No, that's not the right word. My point is, we go on the channel, we go on percentage, who does the most consistently great work, and Carpenter has, and I just I want to see that success coming from him. Look at Quentin Tarantino's top 10 films of all time. The man is a better critic than filmmaker, believe it or not. Okay, let me pull it up for a minute. I like Tarantino enough. You'll never hear me say Tarantino is my favorite director, but Pulp Fiction's a damn good movie. Let's see. Okay, Tarantino's top 10 movies. Quentin Tarantino picks the 12 best films of all time to watch. 2 of his favorites are free online. Okay, so... wait. No. Okay, so... This is from 2002. Wait. And this is from 2012. We'll read it 12. I'll just read you the 2012 one. So, Apocalypse Now, The Bad News Bears, Carrie, Dazed and Confused, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, The Great Escape, His Girl Friday, Jaws, Pretty Maids All in a Row, Rolling Thunder, Sorcerer, and Taxi Driver. Ooh, I need to see Sorcerer. William Friedkin directed The Exorcist. For a top 10 list, I'll check. Let's see what I've seen. I've seen Apocalypse Now, like it. I've never seen The Bad News Bears, the original. I like Carrie a lot. I own Dazed and Confused. I love The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I need to see The Great Escape. I need to see His Girl Friday. I respect Jaws. You know, my fear is from sharks. I've heard of All Pretty Maids All in a Row. Never seen it. Rolling Thunder. Never heard of it. Sorcerer. Never seen it. Taxi Driver. Never seen it. Tarantino. That is a pretty good list. I have respect for Quentin Tarantino. I don't like some of his movies, but I have respect for the man. Let's see. People are freaking out over the pumpkin spice. We see what happens when a channel like this indulges in the holiday season. Doomcock is 33 subs away from 10,000, says Nicholas Glenn. Well, folks, first off, Nicholas Glenn, thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed to Doomcock, he is an integral part of the Fandom Menace community. There's Ethan, Jeremy, and myself, and there's Doomcock. Random Mecha. She used to be Random Game User 42. Sorry, Random Mecha right now. All the people out there, Odin's Movie Blog, that Umbrella guy. All these people are just like, we may not all be like a Channel Awesome type of thing, and thankfully we're not, because Channel Awesome, man, that thing fell apart, maybe deservedly so. But we're a group of people who do care about entertainment and have different takes, and we're all fun. Let's see. I honestly prefer The Thing, but Halloween is awesome. But The Thing is a fantastic movie. We did a live stream of that maybe 2 months ago with our friend, Comics Elite, Grendel Fan 84. The Kinky Pinkies was there, and maybe the DJD show too. I think they were all there, right? It was a good stream. You guys need to check it out. If it gets some decent view numbers up, we might even do it again around Halloween, because there's some stuff we need to watch around Halloween. Let's see. His Star Wars wake on Friday night was powerful. We needed it. Yeah, Doomcock is awesome. Let's check out the numbers right now. So I'm subscribed for sure, because it's Doomcock, man. It's Doomcock. I found him not a long time ago, but I found him when his numbers were down pretty much because of not down, but he hadn't built this thing up. It's the Overlord DVD. Okay. So here we are. 9,009. Oh, no. Let's click on it. 9,968 subscribers has Doomcock. So he needs what? 32 more to get there. So folks, I'm going to post the channel in the description, or not the description, in here right now. Never heard of Channel Awesome? Well, don't worry. Harrison Ford killed Han Solo, not Disney. Ford said he wouldn't. Oh, I know. Believe me, I know all about that. The day they announced Han Solo was going to be in Episode 7, I was like, oh, he's dying. There we go. Oh, we are all here. All right. So we went a little longer now. I think everyone has had their it was a good quality episode of Good Morning Pop Culture. I think it was the pumpkin spice. Mom, I know you're not listening because you're at work busting your ass, so I thank you every day. But I think the pumpkin spice is going to have to go away permanently. I'm just going to leave it on the shelf till it expires, or maybe I'll give it to her. She likes the pumpkin spice made with real pumpkin. I don't know. Maybe it's not enough caffeine for me. Maybe it's just not a flavor I enjoy. Maybe I need the real deal, dark roast, powerful, full of flavor. I don't know if Channel Awesome is still a thing. I know the Nostalgia Critic puts out videos every once in a while. I'm not subscribed. I can't get into the humor or the other people that are on the channel. He worked great by himself, or he worked well by himself. I also liked his collaborations with the Angry Video Game Nerd. But since, I don't know, 2012, 2013, maybe, I haven't been into the shit. I hate the theme song. It sounds like a really broke dick version of a Christmas song. But I just can't take that. I don't like the presentation. It got too big. It went too crazy with the effects. I always liked it when it was him in a room and random people would come in sometimes. But the joke was, hey, critic, I'm so-and-so critic, and I'm here to blah, blah, blah. Shut up. And then boom, back to the movie. It got too much of that. It's like, hey, it's like this guy was cool, and then all of his fucking friends tried to get involved. I'm the nostalgia chick. I'm this. I'm that. It's like, I don't care who you are. The Angry Video Game Nerd worked. He was one of the first of his kind, and he still makes videos. I just watched his newest one the other day. Pretty funny. And then you have other people that are out there trying to do this stuff, and it just became too much. I'd be like, there's world-class bullshitters. Well, I'm intercontinental class bullshitters, and I am European Championship Edition world, bullshitters, and all this, and then it just gets too much, and then no more. Thank you, Realities Frank. It's good to have you back, man. Good to have you back. Jeff needs to drink Kona coffee. Yeah. Well, if it's in K-cup form, I'll definitely buy it. Thankfully, I have a big supply of this, the old faithful Cafe Verona. The Rock. It doesn't matter what your name is. Yeah. I remember when James Rolfe last year or 2 years ago got all that shit because he said he won't see the new Ghostbusters, and then people tried to say he was sexist and all this stuff. I don't think the nerd is sexist at all. I mean, he's funny at times. He used to be great. Like back in 2008, man. I would wait every Wednesday to watch his videos. It was intense. Like the hype was real. I remember my buddy Toph and I would go to class. I'd come back from class. We'd eat lunch, and then we'd go to his dorm room, and we'd watch the nerd because he didn't have a roommate freshman year. I was stuck with one. I fixed that real quick sophomore year. But no, we would watch the nerd on Wednesdays, and we'd play Gears of War. That was the first game I got all the trophies on single player mode for. I got all the COG tags, all that stuff. And the nerd was the shit, man. And then he just, kind of fell away. Well, the Grand Inquisitor, the reason I got this coffee, one, I do like the flavor, but two, it was a good deal. When I do launch my nerd shopping channel, which I will, saving a buck is important. So that's why maybe I drink some of that too. Code Red Mountain Dew. Oh no, thank you. Ugh. Let's see. Channel Awesome imploded. Jeff Larry Bundy Jr. was the last guy standing after the shitstorm. Larry Bundy Jr. watches the videos because he comments on all my damn toy videos. So I know he's still alive out there. Good for him, though. I used to love watching AVGN back in 2007 or watch the middle of the night in the Navy. Good times in San Diego got us through the nights. By the way, for all our listeners out there who are veterans, we had talked about this a while ago about doing a veteran stream. We're still going to make that happen. Let's just do that towards, Veterans Day is in November. Maybe we do it the week of Veterans Day or something like that. And it's not about America and politics. It's just like, I know a lot of our listeners, are veterans. And just like, who just said that? Like Rhaegar Targaryen was in the Navy, watched the nerd, just stuff like that. What kind of entertainment you guys would consume while in the military to help you get through times. Because, some people were in war, some people were in peacetime. Doesn't discredit, anybody's contribution. But I think we'll do that in November around Veterans Day. We'll get Joel involved. There's a lot of people out there who were in the military, and it will just be fun. Another way to talk to a group of people that consume the show and see what entertainment means to them. Because for everyone out there on Twitter that wants to say, well, this is what entertainment is, and it needs to get woke and go this future direction. You guys don't understand. The people that are trying to fight for entertainment to be good and pure, in quotations, it means a lot. Sometimes entertainment got people through tough times. It helped them survive. It helped them this. It helped them that. So don't ever discredit what entertainment means to somebody else. By pushing the modern politics, it doesn't make new stuff better. Sometimes it makes it worse. So that's your next month. Before we go, my opinion on Escape from New York, thumbs up. Double thumbs up for the movie and the soundtrack. May not be my favorite John Carpenter's theme song. I think that's obviously got to go to Halloween. I mean, that's an iconic song right there. But Escape from New York is a fantastic flick that I do appreciate. Donald Pleasance is awesome in that as well. We can watch Brian De Palma films. I think Scarface is one of my all-time favorite movies. So we can watch Scarface. Carrie could happen in October. Back in the Civil War, Lape would entertain himself with dirty puppet shows. And he still does in the modern era as well. Well, I'm sure you guys can all make lists better than Rotten Tomatoes. They, I don't know. I don't really trust them anymore. But you know what? It's an aggregate website. But I don't like when Blu-rays put it, oh, this on Rotten Tomatoes. That's all I can say. Watch Reanimator. I've seen Reanimator. I actually drew a picture for the actress Barbara Crampton. I can't show it on here, but I'll describe it for you. It was the severed head, and you know what the severed head does to her, and I drew it from her perspective. It was a lot of fun. I don't know where you can see that online, but if you look it up, I don't know. Is it on my... No, it's not on my Instagram account. All the old horror art I used to do. So much fun. I kind of miss those days, but the new days are much better. I will watch Taxi Driver. I believe that is on Hulu, and that's on my list of must-watch movies. I told you guys I want to watch a new movie every week, and this week I watched Easy Money. Wasn't really a fan, but, you know, whatever. How far am I from beating that Captain Marvel comic? I think it had 828, and I'm at 819. Yanis Papadopoulos. So probably this week for sure. We'll talk about it on the High Council tomorrow. There will be a time where I'm ahead of that one Captain Marvel book. I'll take great pleasure in that. I'd shit though if this, like, at the end all of a sudden it caught up and it's like, yeah, now you sold 40,000. I'm like, what the fuck? You do realize if it sold 40,000, I would have to sign 40,000 copies of a comic book. I'd be like, what do I do? Because the production of the book's easy. I know how to draw. I love to draw. And thankfully I have a colorist and I don't have to do that extra step. I think knowing that my journey ends with inking it is easy for me, because then I know I'm not in a step I don't know what I'm doing. So I send it off to somebody to color. You guys have seen the end results. It looks damn good. I'm very proud of it. And then I get boxes and boxes and boxes of comic books back to my house, and I have to, oh God, sign 40,000. I'd shit my pants. My arm would probably fall off. Eventually I would just take my shoulder and dip it in ink and go, Jeff Hicks, Jeff Hicks, like that. Which Easy Money did I watch? The one with Rodney Dangerfield. Rosny. Who the fuck's Rosny? Rodney Dangerfield. Vexilarius. That's okay. I'll pause for the next 4 seconds while you change. Hopefully that was enough time for you. All right, DJ D Show. I'll catch you on the other side, my friend. I'll be talking to you soon. Yeah, my hand's gonna be sore as it is. It is. I got to do 800. Well, not. Here's the thing, though, folks. Not every person that backed Stealing Solo wanted a signed copy. Some people got the blank sketch cover variant, which will just say Stealing Solo on it in black, and there's no autograph, because that one is for you to take to a convention and have an artist sign it. So thankfully I get, like, what was that, 12 people? I got 820 other ones to sign. Thumbprint instead of a signature. I don't know if I want to give that away, because somebody can scan it in and claim to be me on the internet, and that's a whole nother world of hell that I do not want to enter. I got to deal with enough people shitting on me for YouTube videos. I don't want people impersonating me and shit on the, like, in real life. I'd be pissed. Will there be a New Year's special on World Class Bullshitters? I don't know. Maybe. Dion and I are going to be together in Michigan, so that might be my time to just be like, hey, guys, we'll do a countdown or something, or maybe we'll do a first stream of the New Year type of thing. But it won't be very formal. It won't be a watch party, because that is my favorite holiday to celebrate. I go up and visit my best friend and his family, and we hang out. They put the kids to bed early because they're still like 5 and 6 years old, so thankfully they don't have to be up all day with us. And we drink into the wee hours of the morning and eat prime rib and just watch YouTube videos and do whatever we want. Last year it was a little smaller, but it was still fun. This year is going to be crazy off the hook. So maybe you guys, I'll tell you this, though, there will be a birthday stream for me on the channel and a countdown for Stealing Solo. So be prepared for that. It'll be fun. Jeff, nobody else seems to know Mustafa Akkad owned the Halloween franchise. Well, Mustafa Akkad, when he was killed in that car bombing, it passed on to his son, Malik Akkad, which Malik Akkad is the reason why, Kevin, that we don't get a lot of Michael Myers merchandise based off the original. Because due to licensing, he will allow the other movies, the lesser films, to be licensed and marketed real cheap. But the Shatner version mask and all that stuff, Akkad is a little too money conscious to merchandise that. So that's why I've told everyone out there that wants to pick up Michael Myers themed merchandise, this is the year, because they're willing to drop the money to merchandise Shatner style Michael Myers. Because once this movie goes away, they'll probably make a bunch of money and they'll do other stuff, but they won't merchandise this. So get it now. So yeah, and they also took Mustafa Akkad's name off Halloween 2 in some of the Blu-ray releases, which pissed off a lot of people. I recently picked up The Dark Knight on 4K and it looks amazing, much like how I saw it in theaters. I have not watched it in 4K. I've been watching it on Blu-ray, so that's what, 1080p? Looks good, but yeah, I'd like to see it in a big presentation. Do I plan on making it up to Canada at some point in the future, or did Justin Trudeau ban you for criticizing female comic book characters? That's very possible, Minority Report. We may not be able to get Star Wars content from the future, but I guess all of my offenses have been lumped onto me based, from the future. Canada, possible. That's a possibility. I got to get my passport renewed. But we will eventually put the world in world-class bullshitters. So there will be a day where we do travel around the world and do live shows and stuff. So make sure everyone just keeps hitting those like buttons and subscribing. And, Stealing Solo is helping the channel more than anything. It's helping us reach a large audience. It's helping us get out there and, take that and put it back into the channel and do a lot more. So my ultimate goal, actually not my ultimate goal, but the end of my level 1 goal is 100,000 subscribers, which we will hit. Then after that, my next goal is to get a skit show rolling, either on YouTube, a small channel, somewhere out on TV, just something. That is the next step. And then legitimate films and to become a legitimate entertainment company. And we just keep growing all the time. And it's because of all you out there. So I feel like that is the nicest way to close out this stream. Thank you to everyone. Will I travel to meet other YouTubers? Yeah, I would meet other YouTubers. Will I meet other YouTubers on a travel stream? It depends. Jeremy gets invited to go places. I think either people are afraid of me or don't like me, so I never get invited to go to the nice things. I just make the videos that get the millions of views and enjoy having a loyal fan base. But no other YouTuber out there invites me to do stuff, and that's okay. I'll just connect with Mauler and Razor Fist and all those cool dudes who I may never meet, but we have the best streams on the internet. And there's a reason why my stream with Mauler and Razor Fist and Retro Blasting has almost 200,000 views. And the average live stream for a lot of people out there for a channel of our size doesn't even reach a tenth of that. So those guys kick ass. It's all about keeping good company. I think we keep pretty good company here on the channel. So, yeah, people are liking that. Will you introduce me to Ivan so he can buy me tacos? You says I don't want the tacos first, man. But I'll buy my own. But Ivan can tell us where the best ones are in Atlanta. They're afraid they'll lose all their subs to me. You know what the funny thing is? You can subscribe to a bunch of channels. I do. I subscribe to probably 100, 200 channels myself. And, I just put out content that I think people want to watch. And I think that's the success that we've had. Steal myself a good day. I already have. I started this way. Kevin, video killed the radio stars, an all right song. I don't know if I can tell you I like it, but I listen to it every once in a while. The guy on the album cover looks just like Channel Dad Brian Lape. Oh, God, stay moist. Is Brandon Moist even here? I guess not. Brandon has dried up. So, ladies and gentlemen, I regret to inform you that the Moist is now dead. He will be missed. He'll be respected. We will have a small ceremony on tomorrow's Good Morning Pop Culture in honor of the Moist. And by the way, I realized I forgot to upload World Class Bullshitters to Podbean this week. So if you're one of our listeners that listens to it on iTunes and all that, I'm going to get that uploaded today because I was so tired. And then I did this, and then Kathleen Kennedy, and the whole weekend just kind of, rolled into one big mess. All right. So that's it. And, see you soon. Be back for the High Council tomorrow night. Be back for that.